There was someone watching and I flipped them off and he left. Happy New Year's, folks. All right. Just had to sync the video and the audio. Let me get this list up here. There we go. There we go. Happy New Year's, and Merry Christmas. All right, well, I'm just going to check in shortly. I am really going to try to do this quick. I really am. I know I say that every time, but I'm really going to try to hammer through these. Just going to get some stuff out of the way first, and then we'll continue. So first off, Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. I had a pretty good one. I got some stories to tell, but I'll just file those under, future videos. You know what I mean? I like to tell these wild, crazy stories about the fucking insane people I know in my life. But yeah, Christmas for us was pretty good. I got the bag out. I got the Christmas bag. Y'all know what the Christmas bag is. It's going away tomorrow. As for the tree, we went to, I think I might have already mentioned this briefly, maybe not. We went to a Taco Bell. Wendy's. We went to a Wendy's. I thought it was Taco Bell because there's a bunch of Mexicans there. No, we went to a Wendy's, and it was just Mexican workers that worked there. And that's important because there was none of this happy holidays shit anywhere. It all said Merry Christmas, and we ordered our food, went in the seating area to eat, and the place was fucking decked out with decorations, Christmas decorations, like it was the inside of a mall. It was amazing. Got a couple of Switch games. Got a couple of Switch games for Christmas from Stacy. And that's about it. It's New Year's Eve day. New Year's Eve now. It's later in the day. I got up not too long ago. Having myself some coffee. Yeah, and that's about it. Well, if I'm going to have this thing quick, I better get to it, All right, so every year I like to do my own, what I call my own personal game of the year. And what's the main focus of what's different between my personal game of the year, between my game of the year and my own personal game of the year, is I like to stress that these aren't just games that came out this year in 2023. These are all the games I've played. This is an aggregate of every game I played, which is in the tens. One year I played and beat over 100 games. That was in 2019, I believe. Damn. But yeah, I play a lot of games. So this year is no different. This year is about on par what I do usually. I played and I beat 51 games this year. 51. It's nothing to sneeze at. But I'd like to take, a snapshot of all my experiences, put them together in its own list. And the game of the year, the #1 spot, isn't necessarily a game that came out this year. Sometimes it's just an old game that I didn't pick up until recently. So that's the main difference between my list and someone else's list. I will be listing games like Samurai Warriors 5 and Blaster Master 0, shit like that. Those are games on my list. Obviously, they didn't come out this year, but I did recently play them. I also have highlighted in red here on my list remakes, remasters, and remakes. Out of the 51 games I played and beat, I have 17, give or take, I think I'm correct, 17 remasters and remakes on this list that I played and beat. That means like a good 20%. Can you do some maths? 20, 17, 50. A good chunk, a good fourth or fifth of the fucking games I played. No, that's more than a fucking fifth. Holy shit, 17 out of a... You do the math. You do the fucking math, because I can't. That's fucking nuts. Hold up. You don't get to see all of my hair. There we go. A good chunk of the games I played. Dude, that's like almost half. Not quite, but, half of 50 is 25. I played 17. That's fucking nuts. That's absolutely fucking nuts. About a third of the games on the list are straight up remakes and remasters. A third of the games I played this year is just running around playing old shit I already played before. It's nuts. We really are in the age of remasters. Some of them remasters, some of them re-releases, some of them remakes. Some good ones on here, but it is what it is. Well, that's about it. Each of these games are indeed new SKUs of the games, even if I've already played them before. For instance, Skyrim is on here again. I played and I beat Skyrim many, many times. I've even completed it and got all the achievements on previous versions. This is a brand new version, a fresh version I have not played, so I'm including it on the list. There are other games, such as Hard Space Shipbreaker. Love that game. I decided to play through it again, and I did somewhat recently. That is not on the list, because I'm literally replaying the same game on the same version. If I say picked it up on another platform, or if it got like some sort of ultra edition with its own trophy list, I would include, and I played that, I would include it on the list. But there are definitely games I played and beat that are not on this list. There's games I played and didn't beat that aren't on this list. But these are all games that I did indeed beat. I saw to the end, saw the end credits. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to go start at number 51 on the bottom, work my way to the top. And I'm not going to try to, I'm going to try to, if it's a bad game, I'll talk about how bad it is. If it's I don't want to like talk for 10 minutes on how shitty the game, a mechanic was, if it's like a good game. So I'm going to try not to do that, but maybe just list one or two things that make the game stand out. But yeah, that's about it. Without further ado, let's dive. Oh, real quick, let me peek here. Is anyone watching? I doubt it. Nope. No one loves me. At the beginning of the fucking video, someone popped in and I flipped them off and they left. As I do. All right, I got the chat off because it's distracting. I'm not trying to do like a live stream and chit chat. I'm just trying to do a video. This is me being lazy. I don't want to upload. I don't want to edit and upload later. I'm just going to do the live stream, end it, and that'll be the video. So got the chat disabled for that reason. I'm not trying to censor people. I'm all for you guys saying whatever you want to say down in the comments. And then I have the thing blocked off so I can't see if anyone's in the stream because I get too damn distracted. I just too fucking damn distracted. So yeah, that's it. Without further ado, let's dive the fuck on in to number 51. Bottom of the goddamn barrel out of all the fucking games I played and beat this year. The worst one, by a fair margin, was Chime Sharp. I absolutely loved the first Chime. It's video game music, the game. It's this really cool techno music game that infuses. If you take Tetris Effect, which blends music and puzzle into this like experience, that is what Chime is. Except Chime is its own thing. It doesn't take an existing formula and remake it or change it. It's straight up, they blend music into the way the game works, and it was amazing, and it worked. Chime Sharp, the sequel, first of all, it should have been DLC. They should have just added new tracks to the existing game. That game could have been huge, but they decided to make a whole new SKU. And the music absolutely fucking sucked. It had these really cool techno beats in the first game, and then Chime Sharp, the sequel, it was just lazily done. The menus sucked. That you could tell they were trying to add stuff and didn't know what to do and tried to pad it out with bullshit. Really, it should have just been DLC, to be honest. But the music absolutely fucking sucked. It had like these pop hip hop songs instead of like the game just doesn't work with that. Like I'm a huge rock and roll fan. If it was rock songs, it wouldn't work. Like I'm not being biased here. It fucking sucked. Read the reviews. I'm on there, by the way. Go to the reviews for Chime Sharp. Read the reviews. It all rings true. They all give it negative scores. It fucking sucked. But I played through and I beat it begrudgingly. Number 51 is Builder's Journey. That's a Lego game. There's a new brand of Lego games that do not have Lego in the title, which is weird because all of your Lego Harry Potter and Lego Batman and all that stuff, they have Lego in the fucking title. I don't know what's going on with this licensing wise. It's not made by TT Games. It's made by someone else. And yeah, I would say this is a bad game. It wasn't what I thought it could be. It had a lot of potential. It looks really pretty. It's basically a single screen puzzle game where you use Legos around the environment to build a pathway for your character to the exit. Sounds kind of cool, but the execution kind of sucked. They focused way too much on making the game look pretty because they have like a ray tracing mode. Like I said, it's a single frame game. It's not super complex. You can turn ray tracing on, 4K. Yeah, it is what it is. It had a lot of potential, but it fell short for me. Bad game, even at like $10. I thought it looked really cool. Got it on an impulse buy. Sometimes I make mistakes. Number 49. And I'm going to get some shit for this. Number 49, The Final Station. Some people like this game. I remember a couple of YouTubers playing it and stuff. You see it all the fucking time. All the fucking time on sale on everything. It just wasn't an enjoyable game for me. It just wasn't. You could cheese the entire game. The entire thing was brutal and hard. And the only way to get through it is to cheese it. You just literally cheese the doors and just inch your way forward, open up a door, shoot, close the door, retreat, open up a door, shoot, close the door, retreat, whittle through the small horror. It just wasn't enjoyable. And it tried to tell this story, which is dumb. They don't really say what happened in the world. There's like an alien attack, but also a zombie attack, kinda. It had potential. The pixel art was fine. It just really could have been something special, but I just didn't have fun with it at all. The gameplay itself was serviceable. I mean, I got through it. You know, these games, what they all have in common is they're all very, very short. If it was like a 20-hour slog of bullshit, I would have noped out like I did Starfield. I would have noped out of that shit quick, you know? Speaking of Starfield, I got like 6 hours through that thing. I was like, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. But yeah, what these games have in common is they are very short, and that's what got me through them. In very short bursts from beginning to end, the gameplay on all three of these games are serviceable, but it's not something I want to play for a prolonged period of time. And that is the only reason why I beat them, because the truly bad games you don't beat. The truly bad games you just stop playing. So that's all that is the final word I have to say on the final station. And those are, I would say, the last of the bad games, the last of the bad ones. Moving into the mediocre territory, this game, number 48, Unmechanical Extended. I would not call it is in the same vein as the previous ones, where they're very short, serviceable gameplay. Very much of the same vein. You could play Unmechanical Extended. It's apparently the extended version. The name of the game is Unmechanical. You could probably play this and think Chime Sharp is far better than it. You know, like I said, they're all about the same, but this one is, I just enjoyed myself with this one more. The gameplay was just a little bit better. I like what it had going for it. It's this cute little, doesn't really matter what it is. You can't buy it anymore. It's literally been delisted. I bought this thing on sale back on the early days of the Xbox One, literally a decade ago, and it's just been sitting on my hard drive for over a decade. And I said, you know what? It's time. So I popped it in, played through it. It is what it is. Now I know why I waited a decade to play this thing, because it wasn't really anything special, but I did enjoy it. Little puzzle platformer. You play as this little thing that floats around. You pick shit up and drop it on top of switches, and it's serviceable. Thank God it was short, though, but I did enjoy it. Number 47. Number 47, Twin Breaker, A Sacred Symbols Adventure. This game is made by, this is Colin Moriarty's game of Sacred Symbols and Last Stand Media, from Lily Mo Games, development company he owns with his friend. Colin, some people like him, some people hate him. I like him sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, say it, tell it, yeah, yeah, yeah. But other times he falls into the same traps as everyone else. He pretends he's conservative. He's not. He's not. He's as liberal as they come. He's more liberal than I am, and he pretends that he's conservative. That drives me nuts. I'm not a conservative, but you know, he just pretends. Anyway, enough about him, though. It's his game. He does know gaming, and he does like games, and he does like the same games as me. And so I said, fuck it, and bought some of his games on sale. And I enjoy them. I enjoy them. He knows what he's doing. They're not the best games in the world, but, you know, credit where credit is due. He is getting better, him and his team, though. He is getting better. This is, I think, their first game that they did, and it's a little rough around the edges, but I did enjoy it. It's the first Brick Breaker game I really played. Well, that's not true. I played a couple others. I think I played like Bust a Move 2 on the arcade. Bust a Groove. The one with the fucking arrow and the fucking, I don't know. But it was enjoyable. It got kind of hard. I played, there's another game of his I played on this list. I'll get to later. I like that one way more. But one thing I really like about his games is he handpicks these old niche retro games, and he makes them his own. Like this is the first Brick Breaker game I played and beat, and then the other game is the first one I ever beat of its kind as well. And I'm really glad to say that, you know, without him I wouldn't have been able to do it, because these games are traditionally like brutally hard and obtuse, and I just kind of don't like them. But I gave them a shot, and as a brick breaker game, this thing was pretty fun. And I really love how you could just, everything's level based, and if you beat a level, you could pick up from where you were from that level. You don't have to, if you don't have like a life system. Well, you do in brick breaker because it's kind of hard. You have like 3 lives. If you die, that's it. But you don't have to like start all the way back at mission 1 or anything like that. You could just say, fuck it, restart the same level with another 3 lives. It's that simple. I really like that approach to modern gaming. This whole, you only have 3 lives and then you have to start over is bullshit. The way they manipulate checkpoints. My worst pet peeve is when you're playing a game and you are fighting a boss wave that has multiple forms, and if you die on like the last form, you have to beat the first 3 forms over again. I hate that fucking shit. I'll rage quit out of the fucking game if I have to do that shit. Absolutely fucking hate it. But yeah, not the best game in the world, but it was a good game. I enjoyed it. It had a, honestly, I should probably place it a little higher on the list, but it is what it is. Moving on, number 46, Bleed. I got Bleed as part of like an indie package. It was on sale for like $10. You get 3 indie games. I think it was Bleed. I don't remember the others. Every once in a while, you'll see these on, Steam or on the Xbox Marketplace or on PlayStation Network. You'll see like a bundle, and you'll get like 3 or 4 very serviceable games for like $7 or something like that. And you got to pull the trigger on that. You got to pull the trigger on that shit. I'm always on that lookout for that diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? That's why my lists are all so weird. I give a lot of thing a lot of time, and I look and I search and I take some chances, and there'll be a game, and if I don't like it, I'll bounce out. But there'll be a game a lot of times that just no one is talking about, and it's just amazing. So Bleed, I would not say is amazing, but it was quite good. The worst thing about this game that it had going for it is the controls were wonky as fuck. I didn't really like them. I wish I could have just did something different. But it's basically, if I had to describe it, it's an extremely, extremely fast-paced Max Payne game, but it's 2D pixel art. That's basically it. You got guns, you're running and jumping and shooting, and then you could do the slow-mo and shit like that. And it had an insane storyline about, a girl and becoming popular and killing everyone and dragons and just what the fuck. It's intentionally stupid, but I had fun with it. I got Bleed too on the fucking I think I got this one as part of a package, and Bleed 2, I think, was a free game with Games with Gold back when that was a thing. Yeah, and I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna go back and play this one. This kind of kicked off my I got like a project going on right now where I'm playing and I'm beating tons of games in a series, part 1. Tons of them. This is one of them. Twin Breaker was actually another one. I got another couple of games of his sequels, if you will, that I want to get to, but I'm just going to go through the first ones first. So I also got to go through Risk of Rain, Blasphemous. The sequel just came out on that, and I got a couple other games I need to fucking get to as well. Moving on, Beautiful Katamari. Number 45, Beautiful Katamari. I love Katamari. But Beautiful Katamari is kind of, not quite as good. What really did this one in for me, it's a great game, but what really does it in for me is the king. The king. He cannot shut the fuck up. Ruins it. And then the whole text, I don't know if it's on purpose to fuck the player up, like the devs thought it was funny, but like it covers the whole screen as you're rolling shit around. You can't see what's going on. You're running out of time, and he has to fucking fuck your shit up. It's a huge fucking flaw. There should just be a way to play, turn off the story mode elements in these games and just go through the levels arcade style with no distractions. This would be way higher up, but This is a fantastic game with a huge glaring problem, which bumps it way down here to number 45. I don't know what else to say. Number 44, Taiko Taiko no Tatsujin, the Drum Master. This wins the award for the most Japanese game I have played all year. It is Japan. It's even more Japanese than Beautiful Katamari. Straight up, it is fucking Japanese, and it's great. It's great. It's a rhythm game. It's a unique rhythm game. You just play with the controller. You hit the drums. Left drum, right drum, big hit, or drum roll. That's it. You just play. You can do it with the triggers if you want. Do 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 do. It's quite fun. It's quite fun. I'm a rock band and Guitar Hero guy. I always played with the peripherals, but this was a very fun and simple rhythm game that uses the controller. You don't need to buy any peripherals or anything. The songs were quite good. They got some remakes of stuff. They got Christmas songs in there, Japanese style karaoke and shit. And it was just a fun ass game. It was just a fun ass game. This was quite a good game. It's very short lived, and it wasn't this epic adventure, but I loved the game. I don't know what else to say. I loved it. A good shout out to Theater Rhythm, the Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm games. I think we're up to 3 now. Those games just use the controller or the Switch or whatever they're on, and those are amazing as well. I love those games. But yeah, this one was pretty fucking cool. I threw it in on a whim. Again, it was short, but I played through all the songs on the list and got like the bronze medal or whatever. I think I played on normal. I don't remember, but good game. Number 43. This is the first remaster on the list. City Skylines Remastered. This is technically just a port, optimized for the next gen systems. Yeah, so the first time I played City Skylines was on the Xbox One, and I was actually playing this thing while I got my Xbox One X. Remember that? So I was transitioning between the VCR Xbox One to the Xbox One X while I was playing this game. I really liked the game. I played for like a day or two, and then I got my One X, and then after the transition, the performance was night and day. Things loaded in faster. It didn't stutter or chug. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Great game, great base game. This is going to go down as one of the greats, but this is the remastered version. It's basically just, I don't know what it is. It has a lot of bad reviews because all the DLC does not carry over. It says it does, but it doesn't. So if you don't buy DLC, kids, never buy DLC, kids, or at least be resistant to it. So if you bought this version, I think this was free. I don't think I paid money for it. I think it was free because I purchased City Skylines. But yeah, if you bought any DLC for it, which I did not, it is not compatible with this new one. You got to literally rebuy it again. People are pissed, but it is what it is. It's still a great game. I had a lot of fun with it. Fuck those in-game fucking late game challenges where you have to like, have like 80% of your population sick and shit like that just to unlock some of these monuments. Fuck that shit. I was going to get them all, but I said fuck it. Good game, though. Number 42, So Many Me. This is an old one. I think this is one of... I think this was the second game ever for games with gold after the next gen. They started rolling out games with gold where they'd give away free games on the Xbox 360. Or am I misremembering that? No, I think it was one of the first games ever when they started rolling out games with gold. The first one was Zeros, if I remember correctly. I still have not played that. And I think this was the second one. It's been so long. I finally decided to pop it in, and it's actually quite good. It's actually a really good indie side scroller, puzzle, side scroller. It's quite challenging. It's not so friendly, not so kid friendly. It's not the Dark Souls of puzzle games or anything, but it is definitely challenging. It has boss fights, and it has this really cool, unique mechanic where you duplicate a person, and it was just really good. It's just really fucking good. Yeah. Number 41 is Habroxia. That is the other game from Lilymo Games, Colin Moriarty's other game. Obviously, I liked it more than Twin Breaker. This is a shmup, a shoot 'em up. Again, I've played many, but they're also brutally hard. And there's some games I'm just not that good up, and shoot 'em ups are one of them. I'm just not that good at shoot 'em ups. I'm also not good at MOBAs, and apparently I'm not that great either. Even though I love them, I'm not that great at fucking strategy games. I always get my real-time strategy games. I always get my ass kicked every time I'm playing like a Age of Empires or something like that, and I love them for their city building elements. I just love the idea of like building like a farm and a courthouse and some barracks and stuff, and getting attacked by some bandits and fending yourself and building up your area and building a fence and then eventually going on the offensive. Like, I love that idea, but like some of these games are just absolutely fucking brutal. I can't do it. But yeah, I'm no good at thought I heard my cat trying to throw up for a second. It's like, what the fuck? I don't want to clean that shit up on live stream. Yeah, I'm no good at the shoot 'em ups. But like I was saying earlier with his other game, he does a great job at not making it too brutally hard. Some of the levels are quite hard, but when you die, you don't have to start all the way over from the beginning of the fucking game after 3 lives. If you die, you start over from. He has a really cool system where you can actually get hit multiple times. I did beat some levels without getting hit, but you have like an actual like health meter. You get hit and you lose health. That's like unheard of in a lot of these fucking games. So that was really cool that he did, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was cool gameplay. It was fun. I actually have the second one. This is the game in my quest to beat the first game so I could play the sequel. Once I'm all done with that, I got all these sequels lined up. I got like 15 fucking games of part 2. I'm just gonna bam, 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 bam. It's gonna be fun. That's gonna be my big project going into 2024. Is I'm gonna be playing all these sequels and shit. Speaking of goals, real quick, I had a goal this year to play through my entire physical backlog of PlayStation 4 games, and I did. Previous year, I did Xbox One. No, that was earlier this year. I played and beat all of my physical backlog of Xbox One and PlayStation 4 games. And technically Nintendo Wii U. But I'm on current gen right now. I have no physical backlog of any of that shit anymore. I completed it. The ones I want to, anyway. Hyproxia was cool. I enjoyed it. Definitely recommend. Yeah. Number 40, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. Again, this is another game on my quest. My sequel quest. This one has a part 2. And this one was just sitting on my fucking my games library, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this thing. They got a sequel. If I like it, I'll grab the sequel. If not, it's whatever. So I played it, and I like it quite a bit. Obviously, I mean, I like it more than the other games I said were good. I liked it quite a bit. I'm excited to play the sequel. I already bought it. It's sitting waiting for me. But again, I got to go through my quest. It's basically just a run and gun pixel shooter. It's not too terribly hard. You switch between weapons and shit. It's kind of like it's basically the fuck is it called? That SNK game, that pixel art shooter. What's the name of it? Metal Slug. It's basically Metal Slug, but you're shooting zombies in 1940s New York as a gangsta. It's fun. Number 39, Proteus. Proteus had some amazing potential. The graphics are amazing. It basically looks like I don't know what to say, like a PlayStation 1 game, but with the resolution set to max. The fragmentation and the lighting and the way the pixels are, it's really amazing. And it's super bloody, super fucking bloody. It's about as bloody as Doom. Extremely fast paced. The gameplay is good. The guns are good. It's really good. It's just a really great fucking game. There's like 2 basic acts in the game. Act 1 was amazing. Act 2, the fundamental problem with this game is there is a cap to it. And what I mean is you can get quite good at the game where nothing could touch you, and the game just gets easy. It's just the nature of the game, how it was made, the guns they give you. The game becomes easy, and the only way to combat that is just to throw absolutely fucking endless waves of enemies at you. Problem with that is you're going to run out of ammo. There's no amount of ammo pickups that'll help, so they have these spots where if you stand on, you can just regain all your ammo for free. Sounds cheap, but it's absolutely needed. You need to do that in order to get through these waves because they just throw so much at you. You could tell that they're running out of ideas. The gameplay itself is solid, but it only works to a certain extent. I had a lot of fun with it, but it starts to fall apart in the second act, and the end of the game was a huge slap in the face. You could tell that this game was in early access, and they just decided to go, stop, put a 1.0 sticker on it, it's done. There should have and could have been so much more. There's supposed to be other campaigns. So it's split up. The way it's split up is like a Doom-style episode. And by Doom, I mean like the old school Doom 1 and 2, not Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Old school Doom, episodic, but there's only one episode, and then it just ends there. Honestly, I don't know what to do with this game. There's games on this list that I love that were amazing at super tight gameplay, cool ideas, but huge slaps in the face. I don't know what to fucking do with these, man. I guess it just depends on how much they piss me off. This game was amazing, and then it kind of went downhill a little bit, became serviceable, and then it ended with a huge slap in the face. But it is what it is. Number 39, Proteus. Good game, though. I did enjoy my time with it. Number 38, Castlevania Circle of the Moon. This is another replay, another remake. This one's technically just a port, an up-res port of the original, which was on the Game Boy Advance, which was a launch title for the Game Boy Advance, which I own and I beat. I'm not getting up and going and getting it, but I could show it to you. I love that fucking game. That was my first Castlevania game I beat back in the day. Man, that was like 20 years ago. Oh my God. I remember playing it in the fucking passenger seat of my grandmother's car. She was like driving around. I was like 16 or 17 years old. And fucking, this was before they had the backlit Game Boy Advance SP. And just you could not fucking see. You could not fucking see this fucking thing. And this game was so dark too. It's horrible, but gameplay, it was solid. I remember this was the first one. It's not the first one I played. I played I played some of the NES ones. I didn't play any of the PlayStation ones at this point, but this was the first one I really sunk my teeth into, and I remember thinking, "Oh man, I'm gonna beat this game. I'm gonna play it through the end and beat it. I'm gonna do this." So I got this on the Advanced Collection. I got the other games on there I'm gonna get to eventually, but just best to start with this one. I own the others on the collection as well. Like I own the hard copies of them. I own Harmony of Dissonance, and I own Area of Sorrow. That's a fucking fantastic one, Aria of Sorrow. Yeah, I own these on hard copy. Just yeah, I got this collection. Wanted to play it with the save scumming helps. The save states, they really help in these games. But yeah, I love the game, and that's another remake. Number 37, technically another remake, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I haven't played the first Pikmin 3. I played through this thing and I quit right at the fucking end. I didn't know I was at the end, and I don't remember what pulled me away, but I was playing and playing, having an okay time with it. Not as good as I would have liked, but I was playing, and then I don't remember what happened, but I like walked away from the fucking game. Playing through it again on the deluxe version on the Switch, and I'm enjoying my time with it. I'm glad that they stopped the motion control thing. It was fine. It sounds like it would be amazing. Like you look at the fucking mini map and stuff. Like that part I really liked. You know, the Wii U was really fucking cool for certain things. Like it was phenomenal with Mario Maker. Absolutely phenomenal. Using the stylus and shit like that. Like it was fucking great. Pikmin 3, using the stylus on the mini map to have like the pause screen mini map on there at all fucking times. You can just look at it and stuff and use it to redirect some of your things. Like that was fucking cool. That was fucking cool. I mean, shit like that was made for the Wii U. And I didn't have a huge problem with the game. It just, you know, it was quite serviceable. But I just walked away from it. I don't really remember why. But I did walk away from it at the end because I did beat this thing finally. And I remember I got to the point in the game where I walked away from, and the end was just like one more level after that. There was like this Resident Evil style, you know, fucking large monster thing that's chasing after you, and you have to run around through this dungeon gauntlet place while this thing's chasing you, and then you get out of the end and you're done. But it was fun. It's definitely like, I don't know. It's way more linear. These games are great, but I wish they weren't as linear. I wish there wasn't these harsh, arbitrary time, you know, fucking time limits that they put on these fucking things, because it just stresses you out and stuff. I want to be able, honestly, I want to play these Pikmin games very chill, take my time, build up my armies, take it slow. But you know, with the time limits and stuff, it just becomes kind of a pain in the ass. Even though they were super lenient with this one, I still enjoyed it. It's still a great fucking game. I don't know if it's worth $50. I really wish Nintendo could bring their goddamn prices down. But, you know, if you could just pick this thing up for like, you know, $20, I would say fucking do it in a heartbeat. But $50, maybe you could find it on sale for like 40. I don't know if they still got sales going on, but I did enjoy it. Number 36. Number 36. Remnant 2. That game just came out. Well, obviously I like it. You know, I'm praising all these games, saying they're awesome and stuff like that. And this is higher up than, you know, Proteus and Castlevania and Pikmin 3. I played the first Remnant with a friend, and really good friend, had an awesome time playing with them, but the game was just ass. Then this game comes out, and he's like, hey, let's play some Remnant 2. I got him back. I'm making him play Minecraft with me. You get get what you fucking get. Now, the first one was ass. This one is much, much better. I don't know what these games are exactly. I played and beat both of them, and I still don't know what they are. They're third-person RPGs, kinda, but with guns. Kinda like Elden Ring, but not really. You play with a bunch of people, and you're doing something. It's procedurally generated, and it's a looter shooter. I want to say it works. It obviously does, but it's no less confusing. I had no idea what was going on. This game suffers from being too disorganized. It would be an awesome single-player game, if it wasn't procedurally generated. But you could tell. Just going through the same areas, you're always getting lost, and I did have fun, though. I did have a lot of fun. The gameplay works, the roll dodging and the shooting. It was me, my friend, and my wife. All three of us played. Stacy didn't join me in the last one, but yeah, she joined us this time, and it was the three of us, and we were all different classes with, our synergies and stuff. I had a really good time. The game, I rank it as high up. I rank these games by my experience, okay? Is Cities Skylines number 43 on a list of over 50 games? No. Cities Skylines is absolutely fucking amazing, but this is the remaster, and I already played it before, so, that's naturally going to mar my experience. I rate these things on their experience, and is this number 36? Probably not, but my experience with this is, I was playing with my wife and friends, and we had a blast. And even though it was the most frustrating thing in gaming for me all year, the end really was what brought it together. The end boss was hard as balls. Like, it was a fucking Dark Souls boss. And it was the three of us playing. It had two forms. It took us so long to beat the first form, and then when it laid the second form on us, we didn't even know what to do. We just instantly died and didn't really understand how. We died over and over again, over 100 fucking tries, slowly telegraphing the fucking boss's moves, roll dodging out of the way, perfect roll dodges, revives. We invented a meme on accident. So I was like the medic character. I dumped all my skills into reviving people. My revive time when someone revives me and when I revive others, it was decreased by 50%. And so when someone would go down, I would go and I'd revive them. And I had my fucking shit maxed out so I could revive multiple times and stuff like that. And every time someone would go down, one of the other two knuckleheads, either fucking Cody or my wife, would fucking run and revive each other. And I got mad. I'm like, what are you doing? You're hogging all the revives. It made sense at the time, but it does sound ridiculous. Cody just laughed his ass off. You're hogging all the revives. And they're still flipping me shit over it. But I had a really fun time. The final boss was fucking a grind, but we did it. We overcome the odds, and it was a really good feeling. I did enjoy my time with Remnant 2, and it's a lot better game than Remnant 3. I do not recommend playing this game by yourself. I do not. It's procedurally generated. There's DNA from all these, Borderlands and all these other games in it that's made for, party sessions and stuff. But beware, whoever's world you're in when you're playing through it, you're locked to that instance. If you host the game yourself, your progress has to restart, so be aware of that. But I do recommend playing this with friends. It was pretty good. Beating this one out just barely at number 35. This is another remake or remaster or re-release or whatever. Borderlands Game of the Year. Yeah, this was the last gen version on Xbox when I don't know. But yeah, Stacy never played Borderlands, the first one. We played through and we beat 2 and we beat 3. We didn't play any of the Tiny Tina's shit. They're getting out of control with the politics. That ain't my favorite fucking thing. If you go too fucking nuts with the politics, I'm gonna nope out hard. That's just the way it is. So many fucking people are like that. Sales are plummeting worldwide when it comes to everything. When it comes to comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, all sorts of stuff. And people just aren't getting the fucking hint. People don't like to be fucking preached to. Anyway, rant aside, she never played the first one. And they got the Game of the Year edition. And I think I got it for... No, I bought it. Bought it for like $10. So I got this thing. And I think in the original game, there wasn't any multiplayer. Like, you had to play it split screen, I believe. And with this, the Game of the Year edition, this remake for modern gen, they implemented online. And so we played that shit on fucking line. Me and Stacy did. It's a great game. I enjoyed... Borderlands 2 is probably the best, but I enjoyed Borderlands 1 more than Borderlands 3. For sure. Gameplay was tight. The your class really mattered. And I had a great time with it. I played as the Siren in this one. When I went back and I played through the first time, I played as Roland, the turret guy. I played through with the Siren this time around. I think I like the Sirens, just the elemental damage. I just go nuts with the elemental damage. I just put all the sliders up with all the perks and just use guns that catch people on fire and electrocute them and shit, and just go nuts with that shit. But yeah, I had a really good time. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as she did, because this was the first time she played through it. But for me, it was a second playthrough, and I had a lot of fun playing through it again. There's still a lot of jokes and a lot of crude stuff in here, but it's amazing how much more serious Borderlands was compared to 2 and 3. 2 and 3 really went nuts with the humor, but Borderlands 1 is pretty tame compared to it. And they kind of have this Mad Max serious style, depressing, gritty version of, Pandora or whatever the fucking the planet's name is in the original Borderlands. That's kind of cool. I actually really enjoyed the tone of it compared to just the wild nature of 2 and 3. So Borderlands 1 is actually quite serious. Borderlands 2 is insane. And Borderlands 3 is just gay. Number 34, Gravity Rush 2. I really wanted to... Oh, shit, she is calling. I forgot to unplug the fucking phone. My wife got it. Good. She's probably surprised too. She said, I thought that motherfucker said he was going to unplug the phone. I should just unplug it right when it fucking... I should unplug it when she's talking to her right now. That'd be mean. That would be mean. I got my aunt who always calls on New Year's Eve at midnight and shit. She will call again. Sometimes bitches got to go to work in the morning and we're sleeping at midnight. Don't fucking call at midnight. I don't care if it's New Year's Eve. Anyway, number 34, Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush 2 was a great game. I don't know. It's so sad, man. Like, the studio who made it shut down. I loved the first one. I played Gravity Rush, the first one, not on the PSP. I think it was, no, Vita, right? One of the handhelds. I played the remastered version. I got Gravity Rush remastered for the PlayStation 4. And apparently it's one of the rarest physical copies of a PS4 game. I could sell it right now for like $250 if I wanted to. But yeah, I played that and I actually quite liked it. I liked the cutscenes with the graphic novel style. The visuals were amazing. That's the first one, though. The second one, the visuals were amazing. There's all sorts of detail. So in this game, you kind of control gravity, and you basically shift gravity that only affects you. So you can fall wherever. You could fall sideways. And you're resistant to fall damage. You know, you actually use your momentum to slam into the ground and hit enemies. You're shooting everywhere. Very unique game. Very unique game. It's kind of like Spider-Man in that way. Especially if you shift gravity and use your powers while you're going. You could like fall forward, drop around someone, circle back like fucking Jen Psaki and fucking hit him in the back. Like, it's cool shit. There's different styles. There's like moon style where you have extra gravity to you, so you're landing heavy attacks, and it was really cool. It was really cool. Talking about it again, like, I'm reinvigorated. I'm like, yes, this is a fantastic game. But honestly, on the grand scheme of things, I beat this a while ago. Thinking back on it, like, it didn't really set itself apart from all the other shit I played. I don't know how to feel about this game. It's an enjoyable game. I'm not trying to say it's a bad game, but I don't know. This game is more unique, and the art style is prettier, and the concepts are novel, and everything works, and it is a truly unique experience, more so than almost any other game on this list. You're not going to find another game that's prettier and has novel ideas and is cool and unique, and it has style. This game is truly a stylish, unique game, but at the end of the day, the complete package just did not deliver as much as, say, something else on the list. All these ideas work, but it's still a loose montage of, potential and what could be, and things that maybe don't work as well as they could, but they did the best that they could. The cutscenes, they still held on to the cutscenes from the first one where it's graphic. They do the Japanese, like, avatar box of the person's face. Like, I would have liked a full-on cutscene. They could have put a little bit more effort into it. But I'm not complaining. It's sad that the studio shut down. This is the Ico studio. I forget their name. The one that did Ico and Shadow of the Colossus and stuff. Good game. Gravity Rush 2. I'm glad I got to experience this sort of thing. It was really fun. Number 33 on the list is another remaster / remake. Lego Harry Potter years 5 through 7. This was part of the Lego Harry Potter collection. This isn't just a re-release. It's actually a remaster. They remastered Lego Harry Potter. There's 2 Lego Harry Potter games, years 1 through 4 and years 5 through 7. And both of them are on this collection. And I played the first one last year, and the second one I played this year, obviously. And the second one in particular had tons of graphical updates and little quality of life updates as well. So, I like the Lego games here and there, and I got this bundle for cheap a while ago, and I just said fuck it, and I threw it in. And the Harry Potter universe goes exceedingly well with the Lego universe. Like, they are made for each other. The two franchises, as far as Lego games go, right? And the Harry Potter universe, the synergies between the two are amazing. It works so well, and they play out the attention and care to this game, how they play out all the scenes from all the movies in a story mode, while at the same time having this huge open world Hogwarts to explore. The way they incorporate the missions and stuff. It was actually pretty cool. The games are quite long. There's a lot of content here. If you want 100% these games, good luck. But it's a weird one to have up so high, but I really enjoyed it. I never played the originals back on like the 360 and PS3. Never played them. This is my first time going through them, so there's that. I don't think I would want to play through this a second time. Like I said, tons of content here, but These are pretty special games. Pretty special games. I think I enjoyed the first one a little bit more. Actually, I think I was playing this when the year rolled over. I was in the middle of this, and it never got to be on my list. But I think I made some commentary on it. But yeah, this game, very special. I love these games. I would definitely recommend the Lego Harry Potter collection. If you're a fan of the Lego games in general, they're a must-play. I think you'll really like what this has going for it. And if you're a fan of Harry Potter, which I am, yeah, give this a try. It's amazing how well, like, these are some of the best Harry. Granted, I didn't play the other Harry Potter games, but this is like the only Harry Potter games I've ever played. But they do an amazing job of just translating all of the movies into the Lego world and just telling the entire story from beginning to end. And they also make it super family friendly and stuff. When someone like when one of the characters dies, no spoilers, but when one of the main characters dies in the movies, when you get to that scene in the fucking game and the character dies, the camera kind of pans back out, and Harry Potter kind of looks over to his side, and you can see the character getting back up and getting ushered off the stage. Like, okay, you're not really dead, but you played your part now. Now you got to go, get out of here, go. So the game tells you, like, look, there's no one really died, but wink, wink. So that was really cute. Another shout out to like one of my favorite Lego moment in any Lego game is Lego Batman 3, I believe, Beyond Gotham. You go to a planet where there's blood rivers, and Robin goes and oh, what is this? And Batman is like, oh, those are the rivers of such and such, and Robin sticks his fucking hand in the blood and eats it, and Batman goes, Robin, no! And he goes, oh, what? It's raspberry jam. What? Number 33, Lego Harry Potter. Number 32, yet another remake / remaster. This one's a little special. GoldenEye 007, officially part of the Rare Replay package. It took a while for them to get here. I would recommend playing this thing soon, because it's the way the licensing and shit works, they're going to yank this thing at some point. This was a thing that was the history behind the GoldenEye remake for the next gen consoles is a whole video in itself. But this thing was never supposed to happen. Negotiations fell apart. Everything was just so fucking tedious behind the scenes. And finally, mostly Nintendo and Microsoft got their shit together and came up with some sort of agreement to release it on the different systems. The way it worked, but it came at a cost. It did. It came at a cost, and that cost is no... well, there's a lot of it, actually. But they weren't... like, Microsoft wasn't allowed to have, like, the awesome multiplayer, and I don't know what was, what could have been. Could have been amazing. But hindsight and all that shit, gift horse of the mouth and all that good stuff, it was an okay game. I did enjoy playing through it again. I don't remember, is this on anything else, this original version? I don't think it is. I think the last time I actually played this was on the Nintendo 64 years ago. There was a time where I still had all my retro consoles like plugged in and shit on the TV, and a few years ago I unplugged them all and closeted them. I just wasn't going back and playing my Super Nintendo for nothing, But I did have a really good time playing through this. It shows its age, but this is a game that I wouldn't say aged badly, but it firmly fits itself into a niche, which fits. It's weird, it's different. The open world nature of some of these levels was actually quite refreshing. playing, you know, with the different objectives was cool. I just had a really good time with it, and the music is amazing. That's one thing that they did. They have like the HD sound and stuff, and the music was just fucking so fucking good. So fucking good. Yeah, I played through, beat it. I never did manage to get through the temple, the final areas of the fucking game. But yeah, I went through and I beat it. I had a fun time with it. And then that's that. Moving on to number 31. Number 31, I got some shit to say. Octopath Traveler. This is a game that should have been in my top 10, but it's all the way down here at number 31 because it fucked me. It fucked me. I had an absolute blast with this game until the very end, and the game fucked me. There's the final boss. There's some debate there. It's the final fucking boss in the game, but for some reason they made him an optional boss. It's not that hard to fight the final boss. All you have to do is just beat everyone's stories. You're doing that anyway, right? But you get to the final boss, which I'm putting this thing down as a win because technically the credits rolled after I beat one of the characters' stories. And the game was like, okay, you're done. I was like, okay. So I didn't really know what to do. But there's this convoluted quest. You got to beat everyone's stories, and then you got to do this other side quest, and then you unlock the last boss. And you have to fight many forms of this thing, and it's a boss gauntlet. That's not that bad. The problem, though, is I got good, and I got the party members I liked, and I optimized their jobs. And the people that I didn't play, the people I kind of left them in the fucking dust. I left them behind, and they got underleveled. And my A team, the characters that I actually played at, there's 8 characters in the game, and you can only play with 4 at a time. So I played with the 4 I liked the best and optimized them the best I could. And I overleveled them, and I got to the final boss. And the game forces you to use your old guys. The game forces you to use your other team. My fault. I guess, you know, it's something I created. I didn't have to. Maybe I screwed myself, but nonetheless, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And I hate when games do this. There's no reason why it needs to force you to play as characters that you don't play as. Forces you to use party members that you don't like. You know, I get it at the beginning of the game, like if you're doing their story and shit like that, so you can familiarize yourself with them. But like, think of something like Chrono Trigger, which has like 7 characters in it. Think of that. And then you finally get to the Lavos battle, and the game forces you to use all of the characters, even the ones that you hate or something. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I literally could not beat the final boss due to how underleveled my other characters were. And so I had 2 options. Walk away, or go back and grind for another 10 hours just to raise the level of those characters just so I could beat the damn thing. I wasn't doing it. But I'm putting this thing down as a win. Because I fucking did. I just didn't beat that boss. I saw the credits roll with my own eyes. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Fuck this shit. I really want to play Octopath Traveler too, but I heard they got the same bullshit going on. Like, literally, my friend said they'd do the same exact thing. So, I guess when I play that, I'm going to have to level everyone up evenly. This thing could have been fucking in my top 10. Number 30. Another remake. This one's weird. This one's probably... Well, it's Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I never played the originals. So apparently there was 2 games. There was Crash Team Racing, and there was Crash Team Nitro Racing or something like that. There was 2 games. They basically blended both games in a single remake with characters and elements from all of them. Yeah, I never played the originals. This game was very tight. It was very tight. You know, very tight racing. It is harder It is a game that you have to be good at, you know? Playing through this thing, it's about the equivalent of playing on, you know, 150 cc's on Mario Kart or something like that. Like playing on hard mode. It is tough, but I had a lot of fun, and this was a pretty good get good game. It's an old school game with great characters. Just buckle down and just fucking do it. That's what I did, and I had a really good time with it. There were some bullshit moments where it was very frustrating, but I fucking did it. Fun shit. I never played the originals. I'm kind of a new Crash fan. The first time I ever played Crash Bandicoot was with the Crash Insane trilogy, and I absolutely loved the game to death. I played through all of them, 2 and 3 on the trilogy. 1 is definitely my favorite. The one I really loved is Crash Bandicoot 4. That game seems more like a sequel to the original Crash Bandicoot game than 2 and 3 ever were. 2 and 3 kind of feel like Spyro or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I absolutely love Crash Bandicoot. Had to fucking play this. Loved it. Great fucking game. So it's a weird remake. Like, it's a revamp blending two games. It's weird the way they did that, but I think they made the right decision. Great fucking game. I really loved it. 8 out of 10 would recommend. Number 29. Beating this game out, though, just barely. Another remake. Beating this game out, just barely, though, is Mafia Definitive Edition. I played 2. I played 3. I like the Mafia games. Never played the first one. I was hesitant to play through this one because it's a very episodic story kind of game. It's not really a fully realized open world. It's basically an open world in name only, but you're not doing activities in the open world. The open world is just kind of there as a set piece, as a backdrop, which is really weird because this could have just been a straight up linear style game and it would have been almost as good. But they have this thing in the open world and it's kind of weird how they do that. But nonetheless, the story was amazing. The graphics are quite good. They did a bang-up job with this remake. Again, I never played through it until, with the definitive edition. And it was probably my favorite of the 3 Mafia games. I really like the character. Man, it's fucked up how they do everything dirty. Having played the second one first, and then the third one, and then going back and playing the first one, how it fits in with all that. You're playing as a completely different character, a completely different family, but man, that fucking ending is fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. Man, I love the characters too. There was a fucking character in the game with a really annoying voice that reminded me of like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. If Jimmy Fallon had balls and was a dickhead. Well, Jimmy Fallon's still a dickhead, but if he wasn't Weasley. Man, I hated this fucking character, and then I got to know the character, and I started to love him and stuff like that. There was some really cool dialogue in this fucking game. Just a fucking great game, a fucking great story. Yeah, I definitely recommend Mafia Definitive Edition. I hate saying definitive. But yeah, great fucking game, number 29. Number 28, Blaster Master Zero. I referenced that earlier. It's one of the many, many, many remakes and remasters on this list. I have not played this game. I remember seeing Blaster Master in the stores when I was a kid. I saw the cover art, that obnoxious cover art. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. The original NES version of Blaster Master. That had some horrendous cover art. Some like clipped like pixel art that they did like this washover of a single color to make it look like, I don't know what they were doing. It was horrible fucking box art. I remember this shit going, I do not want to play that game. I didn't even pick it up and look at the back for the screenshots out of curiosity. I was like, nope, not doing it. That bit me in the fucking ass because this is one of the fucking best fucking... Apparently, the original Blaster Master Zero, the original remake... Okay, so this is a remake of the original NES game. Apparently, it is a pretty one-for-one when it comes to, you know, the gameplay and the areas and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure that there's a ton of quality of life improvements in the game, the save system and all that stuff. But man, if I played this back on the NES, this would have been one of my favorite NES games. This game holds up weirdly well for modern times. I just played through and beat this. In fact, this was the last game that I beat. I just beat this like 2 days ago. It weirdly holds up to modern standards. It was great. Pixel art was good. It's a fucking Metroid game and a Zelda game. So it's like this Metroid overworld with backtracking and progressive power-ups and stuff like that, and a mini-map, and it's great. And then there's these like little caves that you could straight up hop out of your ship at any time and walk around as a dude and go into these little caves, and then suddenly it's a Zelda game. It's got a top-down view and everything, and got these little mini dungeons. It was fantastic. No one's talking about this. When you fucking go into the review section and any conversation about it, that's what people say too. Not enough people are talking about this. What's fucking Indie Creates fucking developed this? That fucking little studio who's always pumping out these pixel art shit. And they fucking handled this fucking game. They made a 2 and a 3 direct sequels to this fucking game that never fucking came out. Okay, that's not true. There is a Master Blaster 2, but it's for the Sega and it's its own thing. And just, yeah, never mind. Great fucking game. I loved it. I'm very excited to play 2 and 3. I already got them on my wish list. I'm going to buy them as soon as they go on sale. I've seen them go on sale several times. Definitely doing that, though. Can't fucking wait. This game was great. Number 27, To the Core. One of the few PC games I actually played through and beat. To the Core is a fun little game where you're a little spaceship and you're mining planets, and your goal is to get to the core and mine the core and kill the planet. You're getting resources, upgrading your ship. The upgrade tree is crazy. And when you get to a core and beat it, you could prestige the planet, and so everything's harder, but you get more resources, and you could do that endlessly. You just go around farming resources, and it's my type of shit. I played for maybe 6-8 hours before I beat the game. For a game like this that could go on endlessly and has all these power-ups and tons of unlocks and shit, it is surprisingly short. They really could have just made this thing like a 20-hour grind, but they didn't. I enjoyed this thing quite a bit. It was fun. I'm actually surprised my PC could handle it, to be honest, because there's a lot of processing and shit going on. Number 26, I'm going to try to blast through these a little bit faster now. Number 26 is Bloons Tower Defense 6, specifically the Xbox version. This is a port of a game I already played. I already played this on PC. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm a Bloons guy. I played through, I think I started with Bloons 2. Bloons Tower Defense 3, Bloons Tower Defense 4, Bloons Tower Defense 5. And this is the new one. I didn't even know this thing was out. And as soon as I fucking found out this thing was out, I bought it on the fucking spot on Steam. I put many hours into it. Here's the thing. This is a great fucking game. If you like tower defense games, you have to fucking play this game. The Bloons series are the best, hands down, the best tower defense games in existence. Not even close. Get them, buy them, play them. They are great. This version, the console versions, should be free. With the amount of microtransactions in this fucking game, it should be free. Not only that, but there are so many content updates on the PC version. This is a gimped version if there ever was one. If you want to play this thing and you got a PC, just get it on the fucking PC. I got this thing for the console, even though I already own it, because I just wanted to get achievements for it. I really just wanted to play this thing on my console and just earn some achievements, do it all over again. But yeah, it's saddening how much content that is stripped out of the console version. And they gimp it slightly too. I'll give you an example. There is a limit to how many things could be on this screen, obviously, because the game, even on PC, the game could chug, especially in the later waves. If you pop up your spike thrower, the spike thrower will eventually just stop throwing out new spikes. Well, it won't stop, but the old ones will disappear because the game can't keep track of so much. It's got to run smoothly. That was my number one thing. Like, I don't have the best rig in the world, but when I was playing this thing on the console, I was thinking to myself, how is this going to run on console, like in the later fucking waves after round 100? Like, is it going to chug? It never did. It never fucking did, but there's a reason why. But yeah, this is an insanely gimped version, the console version. It's still a great fucking game. If you don't have access to a PC and you like tower defense shit, like if you played like Defense Grid and you love that shit and you're looking for something new, yeah, buy this, play this. It's great. It's fucking great. It is. But it just hurts on a personal level how much they stripped out of it. You're not going to notice if you've never played anything else. You're not going to notice how much they stripped out. You're really not. And the content in there alone is just bonkers. Just bonkers. But I really love the game. This should probably be lower on the list, but I just, like I said, my personal game of the year, I'm going to rate it how I feel. And I love this. I can't deny how much fun I had with this thing. Beating that out slightly is Age of Empires 4. I played Age of Empires 2, the definitive edition, and I had fun with it for the first couple of levels, but the game just beat my fucking ass. It's so hard. Like I said, I'm not good at these games. I just like playing them. Age of Empires 4 actually allowed me to... They have like a casual story mode when you play through the main campaign. Very historically accurate. I love the campaigns and the stories you go through. Not as much content as there was for Age of Empires 2, but Age of Empires 4 is pretty awesome. I love how all the factions play differently. I love the story, going through the campaigns of each of them. It was really fun. It was really fun. And again, I'm thankful for, the casual story mode on this thing. But I did have a lot of fun, like watching the cutscenes and seeing, like, because they show footage of the landscape in real time, like real footage of it. And they kind of do this digital art thing where they paint barracks and dead bodies of soldiers and stuff over the real land, so you could kind of get a mental picture of what it looked like and stuff. It was really cool. Really fucking cool. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I love these fucking games. I love city builders and stuff, and when they mix in combat and stuff, that's cool too. I'm just not very good at them. Again, I'm very thankful for like the casual mode on this thing. I know I sound like a fucking boomer or a kid or whatever. I'm still very good at games. I could still rock socks when it comes to like Souls games and shit, but just like I cannot fucking play strategy games. Not unless it's like turn-based, where I could stop and like obsess over every move and stuff like that. Like I have no problem playing, that kind of shit and city builders. But combat, StarCraft, Warcraft, shoot 'em up craft, Age of Empires, I'm no good at them. No bueno. Love this game though. Number 24 is Madison. That's a scary fucking game. Not as scary as a Visage. Visage is on another level, but this game was quite scary. And I played this during Shocktober. Had a lot of fun. I'm glad it was shorter. It's a very doable game. I'd recommend it for sure. Especially play it alone by yourself with headphones on. You're sure to shit the fucking couch. I don't know what else to say about it. It was really fun, and I had a lot of fun with it. Number 23, another remake / remaster / re-release, Skyrim: The Anniversary Edition. I chose to pick this up and play it on the PS5. The PlayStation 5 has its own version of this game with achievements and all that stuff. I think. No, actually, that's not true. It's Skyrim Special Edition with the. I don't like how they handled the anniversary add-on. Skyrim. Technically, this was Skyrim Special Edition, but this was the anniversary add-on. I played it on the Xbox before, but that was technically Skyrim Special Edition. I had already played through in beta. I had already listed on here. So I bought this thing on PlayStation 5 so I could play it on PlayStation 5. And I'm in the process of 100%ing this game. I'm just not there yet. I did play and beat Alduin. But yeah, I beat this a while ago. It's Skyrim. I don't know what else to say. I've played this many, many times as a standalone experience for this year. Yeah, not as high up on the list as it has been in the past, but I am really having fun with this sort of thing. I had a lot of fun playing with like the PS5 when it comes to this. Not as many options when it comes to mod support, but it loads in faster. It's more stable. Like, dude, I literally just played this on the Xbox Series X. And I don't know what's going on there, but the frame rate is choppy as hell, and it's just not as stable. The PlayStation 5 version is where it's at, especially with the SSD. The SSD on the PS5 is no joke. You could call me a pony if you want. That is no joke. The fucking they do this thing where when you go to play the game, there's two options. There's continue and there's just launch game. If you hit continue, it doesn't bypass the loading. It just bypasses the loading screens and the menu screens and just loads up into the game directly from the dashboard your recently saved game. It's faster than Xbox's Quick Resume. It works differently. Xbox Quick Resume like holds the games in memory in a memory cache just constantly. So when you go to do it, it'll just quickly load up exactly where you were at, even if you're like in mid combat or something like that. It's great. I don't use it all that often because it's not very stable and I have to exit the app anyway and reload from start anyway. I'm kind of in that habit. PlayStation does not have the quick resume feature, but what it does is it has an SSD. It's literally faster to load the game up from scratch and continue on from where you're at, your last save data, than it is Xbox's quick resume. It's even faster and it's great. It kind of goes through the same old loading process and shit, but it's so fucking fast. It's great. I loved it. That and just I mean, if any of you remember playing through Skyrim on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, the loading times were atrocious. There was like no loading times in this. When you transition from the overworld into a house, just fucking instant. It was fantastic. The experience of Skyrim on the PlayStation 5 or a super powerful rig on PC is fucking bar none. If you ever want to play Skyrim, now is the fucking time to play it. It's beautiful. Where was I at? Number 22. Yet another remaster remake. Number 22 is Advance Wars, the Reboot Camp edition on the Switch. I was so excited to get this thing, and then Nintendo delayed it for social justice reasons. Can you tell me why you delay this game because there's a war in Ukraine? Like, what do you mean? There's wars all over the place all the fucking time. Even before Ukraine, there was conflicts in Africa and the Middle East and in Central Asia and shit. Genocide, cartel fucking wars and shit in South America. Like, there's wars all the fucking time. Even before the whole war with Ukraine thing started, there was fucking wars. When did we ever fucking delay a game because we have to be sensitive to that issue or something? Like, what the hell? Also, I mean, even if you're the most diehard democratic social justice warrior pussy who thinks we should give all of our fucking taxpayer money over to Ukraine, even if you believe that, we should be smart enough to understand it's a fucking video game. It was not made because of, or in the face of, or having anything to do with the conflict in Ukraine. It had nothing to do with that at all. And people are smart enough, even the most insane SJW who supports the war in Ukraine, even they would understand, hey, this has nothing to do with that. Hopefully. Or maybe they aren't. Maybe that's the reason why they delayed it. But this shit never should have gotten delayed. That really pissed me off. But delay it they did. For the most stupid, arbitrary reasons ever. But yeah, I bought Reboot Camp. Actually, I think Stacy... Oh my god, she's calling again. What the fuck? Anyway, I think Stacy got this for me for Christmas last year. I played through this thing. I had a hell of a time. That's not true. It didn't come out until June, I think. I don't remember. I don't fucking remember. Played this thing. There's 2 games on there. Advance Wars 1 and Advance Wars 2. I finally beat Advance Wars for the first fucking time. I got through... Man, these games are brutal. I got through... I mean, they look kiddie and childish, but they're tough. Like I said, I'm not super good at these. The turn-based ones I'm okay at, but they are brutal. I got to the very end, my first fucking run. I tried to beat this like twice. I remember I gave it a good run back in the day when I first got it, and then a couple of years later, I was like, okay, I really like these games. I'm gonna play them. I'm really gonna beat it this time, and I gave it the good old college try, and I got to the end, and I just couldn't fucking do it. I just couldn't fucking do it, and I left with my tail between my legs. But I redeemed myself. I finally fucking did it with the Reboot Camp version of Advance Wars. I beat that shit. And I was planning on doing it with Advance Wars too, but that game is too damned hard. That game is too goddamn fucking hard. What really kills it is the time constraints. They're like, oh, you gotta beat this mission in fucking 6 turns or less. And I just can't fucking do it. They put these weird arbitrary modifiers on it to make it harder, and I can't do it, man. These games would honestly be a lot more enjoyable if they were easier. And you know, there is a line. You know, the game has a really good foundation and it has a really cool learning curve and stuff. They could have just made the AI a little bit better, to be honest. But they put arbitrary modifiers on it to make it harder. They put you on an island way in the corner with like 2 guys. Meanwhile, there's like 50 fucking enemies. You have to build up your base while defending. And the AI could be pretty brutal too. Like, and then you got to do it in 15 turns or less. Like, if you just erase all that bullshit and just play in a more sandbox mode, you know, the game could be better, but it's way too fucking difficult, man. I beat the first one, Advance Wars, really good. These are some of the best fucking games. I love them. I even got Advance Wars Dual Strike on the DS, but I never beat the first one until recently. It was really cool. I love the remake. It's so cute. Like when you zoom out on the map, you're actually playing on a cardboard, like tabletop. Yeah, I really liked it. Number 21, Astro's Playroom. It kind of hurts that I have Astro's Playroom down so far on the list here because it was just sublime. Astro's Playroom is the PlayStation's version of Smash Brothers and what Smash Brothers represents. You know, just a celebration of gaming. Astro's Playroom, and it's not a fighter. It's straight up a platformer. Astro's Playroom was sublime. Very short. It was very good. Just an absolute fucking celebration of PlayStation. It really was. And all the collectibles in the game are hardware and software and peripherals of the PlayStation universe. Each of the worlds are grouped up between the different eras. I remember there was like the PlayStation 1 the PlayStation 1 area is like a jungle. No. It's like a grassland or something like that, but like everything's gray. There's like gray mountains that represent like the console and the memory card and stuff like that. And just it was so fun and so cute and so cool. It really was a celebration of PlayStation. And the final boss in the game, I'm gonna spoil it. If you don't want it spoiled, skip like a fuck it. Nah, maybe I shouldn't spoil it. Nah, it's too good to spoil. It's too good to spoil. I'm not going to spoil it. But the boss of the Astro's Playroom is a very PlayStation. It's a PlayStation monolith. It's a deep cut. It's so cool. The whole thing was so fucking amazing. But it pains me a little bit to say that the gameplay itself was just kind of lackluster. It was a very mediocre platformer. There's a jump button. There's like a double jump hover button that also kind of doubles as an attack, and then there's like a basic attack. And then you could grab and pull things and stuff. It was a very basic game. It's not that deep, but it was fun to play, and the whole thing was just, I laughed out loud many times and went, wow, and just, it is a celebration. It'll definitely tug on your heartstrings. And it's also sad that, they shut the studio down, Asobo Studio. This should be a new staple in PlayStation. They should make an Astro 2. He should be the new thing. Like, he should be the new fucking thing for PlayStation. With PlayStation 6, there should be a new Astro's Playroom with that goes all out. Not just a tech demo for the fucking controller either, just a whole universe. It was so fucking cool. Pains me a little bit to have it all the way down on the list, but the truth is, it's kind of it's just mediocre when it comes to gameplay. It just is. If it had better gameplay, though, I mean, if this was like, I don't know, if this was like on par with Super Mario or something in terms of gameplay, yeah, I would put it way higher up on the list. But it is a celebration, and it was great. Finally, in the top 20, we're getting to the real good ones. This one kind of, I didn't expect this to be so fucking high up on the list, but when reviewing it, I had an absolute fucking blast with this game, and I haven't played one of these in quite a long time. So, number 20, Samurai Warriors 5. This is actually the first of the Samurai Warrior games I've ever played. And like I said, I haven't played one of these Warrior games in quite a while. Not a mainstream one. Samurai or Dynasty. Those two games are... The last Dynasty Warrior game I actually played was Dynasty Warriors 9, which people are freaking out about. It has its problems for sure, but it's still good old, Dynasty Warriors. Never played the Samurai Warrior ones, but count me in. I am all in on fucking these characters and stuff. It was very stylish, very fucking stylish, and very pretty with the cel shaded graphics. It looked like an anime, and just the stylized characters and stuff. Everyone was a fucking character. The main guy fucking being a dick, and the story was actually quite sad. He's like, oh, I had to fucking kill everyone and unify the country. Now there's only one fucking bad guy left, and that's me. I cannot fucking atone for all the atrocities I've done. It's up to you to kill me. And like, man, it was very romantic in terms of, romanticizing, historic events and stuff like that. I'm not talking about like a bromance or anything like that. Nothing gay. I enjoyed myself with this thing. This thing's quite good. I could have 100%ed it, went back and did all the side missions and stuff, but it was great. I really enjoyed Samurai Warriors 5. Yeah, 8 out of 10 would recommend. Number 19, another remake / remaster, SpongeBob SquareNuts Battle for Bikini Bottom. I never played the original. Never played it. I heard great things about it, and I got this thing begrudgingly. It was on sale. I was like, you know what? It's a whole new remake. They added some stuff probably. I'm gonna play this thing, see what the hubbub is about. It's fantastic. I'm not a SpongeBob guy. I don't really care. I was too old when this thing came out. When SpongeBob came out and the kids were watching it, I was too old for it. So I never experienced SpongeBob. I was too old for it, never grew into it, never cared for it. But playing this thing, I get some of the internet memes now. No, seriously, it's a really good game. The remake was done well. It plays well. The original game itself, the gameplay was very cool, very reminiscent of something like Super Mario 64 or something like that. If you are missing a 3D platformer, I hear good things about the Hat in Time and the ukulele games. This game is great. This game is fantastic. This is the first time ever playing through it, even though technically it's a remake. But yeah, I didn't think this was going to crack the top 20 at all. I thought this would be kind of down more in the 30s, maybe 40s, but it was really great. I had tons of fun with this. Number 18 is Final Fantasy IV. Another remake slash remaster. This is the pixel remaster version. If you didn't already know, I am going through on a quest to play and beat all of the Final Fantasy games, all the mainstream Final Fantasy games in order. I had played almost all of them. I've given this spiel many times, but once more. I am on a quest to playing and beating them all. I have played almost all of them, but I have never beaten a single Final Fantasy game until somewhat recently. A few years ago, I was playing, I don't know why, but I decided to throw in and play the original Final Fantasy for the PSP. And I stuck with it, and I ended up beating it. It was the first Final Fantasy game I actually beat. And I was quite proud of that. I hid the fact that I never actually beat one of these fucking things before, but now I could say I've beaten one. I was very proud of myself. And I thought, you know what? I could do this with the others. I've played them all. I like them all. It's 5 games. It's 5 games now. I'm 5 games deep. I have beaten Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, and Final Fantasy 5. The next one is 6. I'm going to wait a little bit before I play that because I want to make sure I really enjoy it. I heard that's one of the best ones. It is one of the best ones from what I've played. Like I said, I've played almost all of them, but haven't actually beaten any of them. I got to stop saying that now since I've beaten 5 of the games, not including spin-offs. But Final Fantasy IV here. So I played and beat 2 Final Fantasy games this year, at the beginning of the year and at the middle of the year. Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy V. I haven't talked about Final Fantasy V yet, so obviously that one's higher up on the list. So what I did here is I split the 2 of them up. I elevated Final Fantasy V up slightly higher, and I lowered Final Fantasy IV a little bit more because just to give them a little bit of space. But if you want to know the truth is they are so close together in terms of overall quality. If I had a list of 1,000 games and ranked them all, 4 and 5 would be very close together. So this is a weird one. So this should probably be higher up on the list. Final Fantasy V, when I get to that later, that should probably be lower on the list, but it is what it is. It was a very hard decision, but I did place this one lower than Final Fantasy V. What I will say, what makes this game fantastic and great is the story. This Final Fantasy IV is the darkest storyline I've played in Final Fantasy thus far. The games were quite childish and kid-friendly, and they relied heavily on innuendo to tell you what's going on in the story so far. But then when we get to Final Fantasy IV, which is the first game on the SNES, by the way. The previous one, Final Fantasy III, was on the NES. Anyway, Final Fantasy IV, very dark. We have child murder, we have betrayal. You play as a bad guy. There's a redemption arc there. The characters and the story in Final Fantasy IV is fan-fucking-tastic. Gameplay leaves a little to be desired, but when it comes to the story and characters, it is a very, very grounded world that has a lot to do with politics. Yes, there's like the crystals and some mysticism going on with the story, but it is very grounded in like politics, and it is a much more realistic medieval style story that relies heavily on great characters and great story. Final Fantasy IV is was at the time of my favorite Final Fantasy game I had played thus far in the trilogy. I loved 1, loved 2. 3 wasn't as good as 2, and so 2 was still my favorite, and then 4 came along and dethroned 2 as my favorite at the time of. Absolutely fucking loved it. Number 17, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Not going to go too much about it. It's a Kirby game. The best goddamn Kirby game we have gotten in a while. Kirby and the... I haven't played every single one. Like, I haven't played Kirby and the Forgotten Mirror. And there's a couple others I haven't played. But I've been keeping up pretty well with the Kirby games. The last Kirby game that was this good was probably Kirby Superstar. No. Kirby and the Curse. The Forgotten Curse. The one on the DS where you use the stylus. That is a hidden fucking gem. I absolutely fucking loved that game. But this was the best Kirby game we've gotten in a very long time. I played the one that came out before that, Kirby Star Allies. I actually played that co-op with Stacy. That one was kind of a stinker. I love Kirby. I'll give them all a playthrough. They have a special place in my heart. They're actually kind of, easy, I'll say, but there are some challenging boss fights. Kirby has like super easy gameplay. You could coast through, but the boss fights, you got to buckle down on some of them, especially like the late game stuff. This one was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. They nailed it. They nailed the pseudo open world. This is basically they Mario 64'd the fucking Kirby franchise with this one. They made hub-based worlds with exploration, very Kirby style. You use your fucking moves and stuff to traverse, and it was done very well. The music was great. Just fucking great. And it was a lot of throwbacks to the previous franchises and stuff. It was cute. Man, it was such a great game. Such a great fucking game. Top 20 for sure. I love this fucking game. Definitely don't sleep on it. There's good Kirby games and there's bad Kirby games. I'm not going to lie. Unless you're a Kirby fan, don't even look at something like Star Allies if you have a Switch. But if you're a Switch owner and you're looking to dip your toes into Kirby, or maybe you just haven't gotten around to it yet, play this one. This is the Kirby game you want to play. It's great. Number 16, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I was very concerned that this game wasn't going to be all that great, because I keep hearing that compared to the previous one, that it was just kind of whatever. I didn't feel that way at all. I loved the characters. I loved the storyline. It was a little bit on the shorter side, but not for me. It wasn't. Let me explain. So, if you go on like howlongtobeat.com, they clocked this game in a couple of hours shorter than Ratchet and Clank. I think it was 2018. The Ratchet and Clank remake for the fucking PS4. They clocked that thing in slightly longer than this one, Rift Apart. So what they did is the levels, it's still very Ratchet and Clank. You could go to wherever you want and levels and shit like that. But the levels are more of an open world hub than they were. Like, they are very much these open world, I hate to say it, but like Super Mario 64, Kirby Forgotten Land-ish. They're these big hubs you could return to with new powers and stuff and explore further and collect stuff. Because of that nature of the game really lets you run loose and, with the collectathon nature of it, and explore and backtrack. And if you take your time and you want to collect things and really stop and smell the roses, the game will let you do that. And that is why this game is longer for me than the previous one was. So this is really up my alley. It's not an open world game. It's still very linear. It just has, and the levels were always kind of, open world-ish hub-based levels in the Ratchet and Clank universe. They just expand upon that, but in a meaningful way. I thought it was really good. I actually love the new character, Rivet. There's two new characters. There's Rivet, which is the Lombax, and then there's the other robot, Clank's kind of counterpart. I actually really like those characters. They get a little social justice warrior-y with the girl power and the ableism and shit in this game. But like I said, if it's a good fucking game, I could ignore it. If it's a bad fucking game and all you got is politics, fuck you. But this is one that they handled it okay, and it's just a great fucking game. I really loved it. It is not bad. It is not a letdown compared to the last one. I really had a good time with it. The villain was fun. I love the whole multiverse thing. They made Quark black, because sure. Yeah, I really liked it. Number 15 is Mortal Kombat 11 plus Aftermath. I got the Aftermath package. I didn't play this thing until after the Aftermath DLC dropped. Aftermath is basically the last chapter on top of Mortal Kombat 11. Wow. Absolute wow. So my history with the new Mortal Kombat trilogy is I watched Mortal Kombat 9 because the game is too fucking brutal, the original one. Man, that game is so fucking bullshit. You have to fight 2 fucking waves of fucking tag team match when you only had one person and shit. Like, I can't. I watched the fucking story online with Mortal Kombat 9. Then I played 10 last year. I had a lot of fun with that. I thought it was amazing. Or maybe it was the year before. I don't remember. But this year I played Mortal Kombat 11, and oh my god, just the cutscenes and the story. There's so many characters and backstabbing and factions and stuff. It's so fucking cool. It's like Game of Thrones. Beautiful cutscenes. There was a problem with the Xbox version, at least, where the audio got out of sync with the cutscene and kind of like tore you apart from the fucking the immersion. But in general, it was just fucking fantastic. And it's not so brutally fucking hard either. I'm not really good at fucking tournament fighters and stuff like that, but this was serviceable. I did it. I beat it. And then I played the Aftermath one. Aftermath literally takes place right when you beat the game. Right when you beat the fucking game and Liu Kang's about to do his thing. Fucking a portal opens up and Nightwolf, Shang Tsung, and fucking I forget the other guy. They fucking walk out of the portal and are like, hey, stop. They're like, Shang Tsung, what are you doing here? These guys were like suspiciously absent from the fucking game. Right? But they were kind of put in like a prison, during the events. And then when you beat the game, when you beat the bad guy, the antagonist, and they're freed from the prison, they come in because they have more to the story. They're like, hold on, we can't let you do that. You got to do this shit first. There's time travel, and then you go back to different. Oh man, it was so good. It was so fucking good. Shang Tsung pulls some shit because he's saying Shang Tsung. Quan Chi is there being a fucking ass. Like, it was so fucking good. It's so fucking good. And with the whole Mortal Kombat 1 remix thing, it's canon. It's canon. Because it's worked into the actual story. So, long story short, the story elements of Mortal Kombat 1, the game that just came out, as you know, it's like a complete remix of Mortal Kombat. Good guys are bad guys are good guys. Instead of Raiden being the defender of Earth, the god of Earth, it's Liu Kang, the fire god. You're thinking, what's up with this random ass fucking remake? It is a remake, but it is canon. They restart the universe. They do. Sorry for the minor spoilers, but you know, it is canon. They didn't just randomly decide to remake it into Mortal Kombat 1. But it's really cool. I'm very excited to jump into that. I'm going to play that during Shocktober in 2024. Number 14, yet another remaster / remake. How many of these do I have left? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 remaster / remakes left on the list. Number 14 is Metroid Prime Remastered. I didn't know I needed this in my life. I didn't know I needed this in my life. I remember the reveal and thought, you're going to fucking do us like this? You're not going to give us the trilogy? I mean, we already have the Metroid Prime trilogy that's locked on the Wii U, the Wii marketplace, which has been shut down. Like, what are you doing? You're going to remaster fucking just one of the games? Like, I know it's just a fucking port. It's not a port. It's not a port. They do a lot to this. Number one, it's not a port. It is a remake, a remaster. They truly remastered it. The visuals, the game has always held up quite well. I remember playing the last time I played through Metroid Prime. I think I played it on the trilogy with the Wii remote, but on the Wii U on the big screen. And the last time I played through it, it held up surprisingly well compared to other games I was playing at the time of. It just needed to be touched up a little bit. And they did, and it was very serviceable. But I remember being amazed how well this game fucking holds up. Well, it's 2023 for about 4 more hours. It needed a little bit more than a touch-up. They did. They went through and they remade it. But the game and the skeleton of the game and just how it's made is so brilliant. This really holds up. This does not feel like a remake of an older game. This feels modern. And I'm talking about Nintendo on a Nintendo platform. Like, this game looks just as pretty as almost any other modern game. You know, it doesn't look as pretty as, say, the Dead Space remake or something like that, right? But, you know, this compared to SpongeBob SquarePants, which is a modern game, Samurai Warriors 5, Madison, Age of Empires 4, you know, compared to something like this game is very comparable to modern games. It looks beautiful. Gameplay, it holds up very well. I didn't know. Oh, and the best thing about it, modern fucking controls. Full-on twin-stick modern controls without all the weird shit going on. They streamlined the controls. That with the fucking improved graphics. Chef's kiss. It was amazing. Amazing fucking game. I'm very excited for potentially a Metroid Prime 2 remastered. But yeah, it was fantastic. It should probably be a little higher up on the list, but I got some pretty good ones on here. Number 13, Cult of the Lamb. I'm looking through here. Now, there's a couple of newer ones, but Cult of the Lamb is one of the. It's not a remake or a remaster or a sequel. It's a brand new fucking game, standalone IP, and I heard good things about it. It was great. It was really great. It's weird, but it's really great. This game gets really dark. You play as a cult member. You play as. Oh man, this shit is dark. So the game starts off. You are a lamb, and all the races of creatures and stuff in this game are all animals. There's lambs, there's giraffes, there's dogs, there's horses, there's all this shit, right? You are the only lamb in the game. You are, in fact, the last lamb in the game. You have this cult of the gods, which are executing every lamb, committing genocide, because it is foretold that the lamb was going to harbor in their demise. And so they were killing them all to wipe the prophecy out, so there's no chance of it ever happening, and you're the last lamb, and they have you on the execution block, and they kill you. You go to hell. Well, you don't go to hell. The dark one, right? There was a pantheon of gods, and there was one of them that they fucking excommunicated and shackled, right? He grabs you, the last lamb in existence, gives you some of his powers, resurrects you, and then tells you that you are the harbinger of their demise. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Really cool shit. You start up this little cult and you get followers and stuff, and it's kind of like this weird simulation game with like Hades, Dead Cells style roguelike combat, and it's pretty brutal. It's not as hard as Hades. It is not as hard as Dead Cells, but it could be pretty tough at times. Just the gameplay was tight. It was really good. Just a really amazing fucking game through and through. I remember I played this thing and I beat it in like 3 days. Not 72 hours of game time. I think it was like 15 hours or something like that. But when I would sit down to play this game, I played it for 6-7 hours at a fucking time, without breaks. I was glued to it. It was just a really, really, really good game. We don't indies used to be, there was a golden age of indies there where like they were all super fucking good, and then they kind of just fell off the fucking cliff. There's a lot of scam games, a lot of games that rep fucking art style and just don't have good enough gameplay, or there's games that have really great gameplay but look like garbage, and there's a lot politics. There's a lot wrong with the modern day indie scene. This is a good one. This is a good one. It ran great. It looks fantastic. The music was sublime. The gameplay was tight, and it was really fun and unique. I wish I could have put it higher up on the list, but it is what it is. Number 12, Grounded. I got a lot of problems with Grounded. The main one being that it is very obviously a service game, an early access game. They didn't really know what it was. They made like a small sandbox and just kind of expanded outwards. If you're playing the game, you could actually see just like how they expanded it with updates and stuff and added stuff on the peripherals, and it's weird. But other than that, it was actually quite good. I would recommend playing through this thing either by yourself or multiplayer with a friend. I played this thing with Stacy, and we had an absolute blast. It really scratched a couple of itches. Like this, it's a survival game through and through. It's weirdly scary. Like if it's getting dark out and you're trying to run back to your fucking base in time because you got lost and you don't make it and fucking the spiders come out. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. This game is more of a horror game than you might think. It is fucking terrifying. Giant bugs and stuff, and there's all this crafting stuff you could do, and the base building is there. It's so good. It's so fucking good. I really loved it. I started loving this thing more and more. I wanted to play this thing, but I wanted to wait until version 1.0, and then it came out, and then I was hearing some shit I didn't really like, and then me and Stacy were gonna play a multiplayer game, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, let's play Grounded." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I wanted to play something else, but we played this one, and man, it was really good. I really like the story elements there. There's a lot of story elements here that make sense. Like there is a story there. Like there's a reason why there's basically like a government experiment going on, and they randomly fucking kidnap some kids to fucking do these experiments on. And they had you in a suitcase. They were like flying over a residential area, right? And the person transporting them had a moral dilemma. They knew that they were going to kill the fucking kids, and so they accidentally dropped the case so they could at least have some sort of fighting chance. And that's how the game starts. They kind of wipe your memory a little bit because they explain there's like a memory thing, because when they shrink you down, it fucks with the electrical currents of the growing and expanding, your blood vessels and your brain waves and stuff, and you kind of lose memory and stuff like that. It's very story related, but at the same time, it's like this huge survival game, and it's terrifying with all the giant bugs, and the crafting system is cool. It's fun, and it's just a fresh. It was great. It's great. It's great. Yeah, it's kind of childish looking, but it's great. It's a fucking great game. It really is. If you like survival games, or if you got like a crafting Minecraft itch you kind of want to play, this is a great one to play with friends too. 4 unique characters you play. They have each unique dialogue and stuff when they do stuff. Just a great fucking game. I would not mind playing through this again. I know there was a couple of updates since we beat it, but I would not mind playing through this again with someone else. Maybe we'll grab our other friend that we played Remnant 2 with. He's gonna kick and scream and whine because that's what he does, but he'll love the shit out of it. Way more than he's enjoying Minecraft right now. Number 11. This one was number 10. Number 11 was in my top 10, but it got bumped down because there was a game on the list I had completely forgotten about. I just didn't add it to my book. And I don't remember why. I just forgot. But thank God I fucking remembered it. Well, I was remembering and all the fucking my best experiences of the fucking year, and one of them just wasn't on the list. I'm like, hold on, where's this fucking game? So I had to add it. I added it to number 3. And so I bumped everything down. I did beat exactly, I thought I beat exactly 50 games this year, just by coincidence. But with this, it was 51. Everything got bumped down. This was previously number 10, barely making it in my top 10 games of the year. But because of this game, it got bumped. It barely got pushed out of the top 10. Number 11, Plague Tale Requiem. This is just a good game. The Plague Tale games are awesome. I think I enjoyed the first one better. I just think they handled the characters and the story and the gameplay just a little bit better. The main problem with this one, why it's not as good as the first one, the sequel here, is that there's a lot of slogs in the game. There is a lot of chapters in the game where it's just the gameplay is very limited, and it's just it turns into a walking simulator. There's a couple of chapters in the game where it's just a walking simulator. You're literally doing the forced walk where you're listening to an NPC talk and play out. Like they easily could have just played this shit out in a cutscene, right? But instead they make you play it. And they have these larger open world areas, and you got to walk from point A to point B, and it's just boring. You know, like the game is great. The gameplay is tight. It's good. Story and the characters are amazing. And then you get these parts. It's like, oh my God. You know? That's really what's fucking holding this game back to being in my top 10, to be honest. But if they fix that, if it was just tight gameplay all around with amazing cutscenes, this could have been in my top 5 easily. But it was not quite as good. It was great, though. It was great. It's just more of the same, more of the great game that, Plague Tale was. I thought, these games were just going to be boring walking simulators, but proved me wrong many times. There's a robust crafting system, and it's so dark. It is so dark. I don't want to spoil anything, but there will not be a part 3. Just the final chapters of the game are so fucking dark and sad. So dark and sad. So dark and sad. I keep saying that because I'm like remembering what's happening. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, there's certain games that don't hold your hand or try to shield you when it comes to the storytelling and stuff, and this is one of them. If you want just an unbridled, depressing story where they don't give a fuck, yeah, play the Plague Tale games, man. They have no qualms about killing parents, killing kids, killing women, killing anything, killing animals. If you just want an unbridled, unapologetic experience with an industry that coddles you all the time and won't let you shoot, certain characters in certain games where you're supposed to have the freedom to do whatever you want. Like, this game doesn't give a fuck. And it has pretty good gameplay. It's got like good combat, good stealth, good crafting, all around great fucking game. Yeah. Finally, we get to the top 10 and another remaster. This one is Final Fantasy V. I talked a little bit about it before when talking about Final Fantasy IV. This one barely edges out Final Fantasy IV. I didn't think anything was going to beat Final Fantasy IV. I didn't think I didn't think Final Fantasy IV was going to get beaten until I got to Final Fantasy VI. But I was hearing a lot of people say they actually like Final Fantasy IV more than Final Fantasy VI, because they really love the story and the characters. It really feels like, okay, so there's two teams that make Final Fantasy. It was kind of, I suspected it by playing the games, but I actually did a little digging. And yeah, it turns out there were two teams definitively that were making Final Fantasy. So there's the Final Fantasy team that made Final Fantasy 1, and they went on and expanded, made Final Fantasy 2, which was great. And then Final Fantasy, if you didn't already know, was supposed to be the last game, the first and last game in the series. That's why they named it Final Fantasy. The RPG genre was dying. It wasn't doing very well. And they got a crack team together to make what was supposed to be the last hurrah on the NES. And it did the impossible that nobody thought was going to happen, which is it sold a shit ton of fucking copies. And they're like, well, let's keep going. So they made Final Fantasy II. They expanded the team, made a bigger, more robust game. At that point, during development of Final Fantasy II, they created a secondary team, a B team, if you will, to start working on the sequel after that. And so, in between the release of Final Fantasy II, the team was already working on Final Fantasy III. And so they kind of split them up into the A team and the B team. The A team, which handled Final Fantasy I and Final Fantasy II, went on to make Final Fantasy IV, the next big game in the franchise and the first game on the Super Nintendo. And that is why it's so beloved. That game, the A team, they went on to make Final Fantasy VI. So this is why 4 and 6 are so beloved. And I didn't think it was going to get dethroned until I got to Final Fantasy VI, because I did not like Final Fantasy III all that much by the B team. I thought they did some cool things gameplay-wise, but it was a step backward in a lot of ways with Final Fantasy III. I did not enjoy it. Anyway, Final Fantasy V here is basically the sequel to Final Fantasy III when it comes to gameplay. They expanded the class system, and it's the same team that did it. There's a lot of things that I didn't love about the game, like the endless jokes and the childish nature of it all. But they fixed a lot of problems that I had with Part 3. They expanded the class system. They made it so fucking fun. And I actually did enjoy the characters a little bit more. They fixed a lot of the problems in the third game. The third game, the class system was fun, but it was so limited that it almost felt like a puzzle game. You had to have the right combinations of people and classes to tackle certain boss battles, and there wasn't a lot of room for experimentation. The dialogue was corny, the exploration was obtuse, and the fucking characters were, you didn't have really characters or anything like that. You had the game let you name all 4 characters like in Final Fantasy I, and there was no real dialogue between the characters because they're player created. They fixed all that with Final Fantasy V. They actually gave actual fucking characters with their own unique dialogue, and yeah, some of the dialogue was childish and there's way too many jokes. Some of the jokes were actually funny, and there was heart and soul in the story and characters. The mid-game twist, when you finally figure out what's going on, that was really fucking cool. There's a couple of character deaths in the fucking game that were heartfelt, and they expanded the class system to really, really let you experiment and do whatever you want with, and that was so fucking cool. Overall, as a complete package, I felt like Final Fantasy V beat out Final Fantasy IV, but only slightly. Final Fantasy IV's character and stories are unmatched so far. Final Fantasy V, from top to bottom, I thought it was pretty sublime. Definitely the more gameplay focused game. If you want a solid game, solid like old school RPG, and you want really cool mechanics, and you don't really give a shit about what's going on in the kingdom or the antagonist or whatever, play Final Fantasy V, man. It's so addictive. Number 9, I did not think this was going to be in my top 10, but it is. Number 9 is Fire Emblem Engage. I played through that one recently as well. Aside from Blaster Master Zero, Final Fantasy Engage was the one I played and beat just before that. I'm a Fire Emblem fan. I really loved Fire Emblem Three Houses. That is the game to play. It's not as good as that, but I didn't think I was going to like it as well as that, and I didn't. But I underestimated how good Fire Emblem is. This game was pretty good. This game is pretty good. A lot of systems that are different that kind of threw me off. It's not as hard as the previous Fire Emblem game, but it is just a solid, good game. It's more of the same, starting with, I think, Fire Emblem Awakening. They kind of made these games like maybe it wasn't Awakening, maybe it was Fates. One of the games in the DS era or 3DS era, they made the decision to kind of personified Fire Emblem a little bit, made it like a dating sim, they call it. They put more emphasis on the character development, and they made like a hub area where you could interact and socialize and stuff. And there's like a meta to it. You could upgrade your stuff. It's not menu based anymore. At some point, they kind of made that switch, and I kind of fought it a little bit. But I finally was like, okay, I'll do this thing with Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it was my game of the year last year. This one I think came out last year. I got to it late again, but I did get to it, and it wasn't as good as Three Houses, but it was damn good. Modern Fire Emblem is great, and it doesn't need to be as good as the last one to still be absolutely fucking fantastic. When I sat down to play, I played for hours at a time. I put in like 70 hours in this thing. I'm not going to go through a second playthrough or anything like that, like I did with Three Houses, but I was glued to this goddamn thing until the very end. I got my team just right. Felt good. Felt great. But if you want to play one, start with Three Houses. For Christ's sake, that was a fantastic game. Number 8, another remake / remaster. I already referenced this one earlier, but here it is at number 8, the Dead Space remake. I'll keep this one very short. There's not a lot to say about it. Fantastic game. I played this during Shocktober. It's still very, very scary. This one's even scarier. Like, I remember playing through the first Dead Space game, and there's some jump scares, and it was pretty creepy, but eventually you get used to it, and you kind of get desensitized. Like, some of the shit's scary, yeah, but you don't jump anymore after a while. This one, I was still jumping to the very end. The sound design is amazing. They don't just make improvements to the gameplay or the visuals. They also made improvements to the sound design and how the sound bounces around in the hallways and shit like that. If you're playing with headphones on, with the surround headphones, wow. It really just elevates the scary factor. The visuals were amazing. It's still the same great game, but just the clutter on the ground, it just really makes... It's just an improved version of the original, and they do so much to improve it, like little things. They actually change some of the chapters and stuff. Not really noticeable, to be honest. The biggest change in the game is how they deal with the asteroid, that shitty fucking chapter from the first game that a lot of people hate. They changed it so you don't have to fucking fuck with that shit anymore. But overall, it was great. They made some minor changes. There's actually like a villain now to this game. There's like this preachy fucking Dr. Mengele piece of shit throughout the whole fucking game that fucking makes his presence known that I don't remember in the original. But yeah, this is a great fucking game. I loved it. Number 7, Ghosts of Tsushima, specifically the director's cut. I played this on the PS5. I never played just the base version on PS4, so I got all the fucking fast loading and the improvement on visuals and performance. This is one of, PlayStation's open world games, and out of all their like open world franchises and stuff, the Horizon Zero Dawns and the Spider-Mans, I would put this one up towards the top. This is probably my favorite of their open world franchises. I hear they're working on part 2. I'm very excited for that. This game just did stuff differently. They just handled the open world differently. They made it fun to explore. And yeah, I did just run around, and now I gotta wrap this shit up. I did just run around like a open world game, but they just handled it differently, and I really loved it. What was really cool and what made this game stand out the most is that it is a love letter to Japanese culture. We've been playing Japanese games forever. It's been in everything we do, from, our anime we watch to the manga and comics we fucking read. Even if we read like American stuff, like there's still stuff from Japanese culture they take over, and from our video games. Like Japanese culture is ingrained in what we fucking do. It's unavoidable if you play video games. And this was just really a love letter to all of that. And it was so fucking cool. The foxes and the wind and just all the things that we see and play, and Nintendo games and PlayStation games, and just everything was just in here. And it felt like it was really speaking to like the 10-year-old version of me, right? The things that I would really geek out about. It was just done really well. It was very tasteful. I loved the fucking game, and the combat was awesome too. Number 6, definitely didn't fucking think it was going to be this high up on the list. Definitely didn't think it was going to beat out Ghost of Tsushima, but don't shoot me. Forza Motorsport, the new one. It was just fantastic. I played it very seriously. I didn't play it with a driving wheel. I played it with a controller, but I played it with headphones on. Just the sounds and the sights of that game, the way it teaches you, the way it rewards you when you shave off, a half a second on that turn. It's really fucking cool. Early fucking previews of this game said it really felt kind of like an RPG. You get to know your car intimately when you go around the track in the practice run, get the feel of your car and the track, and then you improve your times, and it keeps track of everything, and then you improve your car and tweak it in between courses, and then you got to go around the practice track again to really get a feel of pretty much your new car, because any tweak you make to it doesn't just improve it. Like the stats go up and said, oh, your top speed's higher, your handling's better, but it just changes the way it feels. You've got to go through a practice run in order to feel it. And just the whole thing felt so good, and it was so addictive. I really loved it. I went through the whole fucking thing, all the races, and got the gold on all the cups. This was an experience. I like this thing more than I did the previous Forza Horizon games. Those games are really fun. Those games are really great. This one, it was great. This was also the first technically simulation game. I eventually got rid of all the, not all, but I got rid of most of the accessibility, I guess you'd say casual options and stuff. And I was playing it on a simulation difficulty and stuff like that, taking the penalties and stuff. I was really getting good. I got into this fucking game. I got into it, and I cannot deny how great it was. There was a couple of saving issues. I would beat a course and then save and quit, and I'd reload into the fucking game because it's like a service game and shit. You need to be online. The game wouldn't register that, and I'd have to play it over again. That happened twice, and it really pissed me off. But other than that, I think it crashed once. It was pretty stable. The game was pretty stable, no bugs. Pretty good damn game. Pretty good goddamn game. One thing I do want to mention is I've heard this. It's a fucking lie. It's an absolute fucking lie, and I have no idea why people are saying this. People are saying that the way the car system works and how you level up the cars, if you have multiple of the same car, you have to level them up individually. If you earn the same car, you have to level that one up and not your previous one. And it locks you behind that. And you have to do it over again. That is not fucking true whatsoever. Yes, you can get multiple of the same car, okay, I think. But if you're playing any course, any race, any circuit, you don't have to use the new one without the upgrades. You could use the one that you just fucking leveled up to level fucking 20 and use all of its upgrades and shit. The way the upgrades work is you get car points when you level up your car. And you could use those points any way you want. And if you want to fucking take off, if you want to downgrade your carburetor and put those points into a better braking system, you could do that without having to erase any progress. You always have those points. Those points, those car points for your car never go away. You could always tweak and expand and change at your heart's content. You don't need to fucking level up this new car to play this race. Just pick the other car that you are already fucking playing with and do whatever you want there. That's a complete fucking lie. Why, oh, you gotta level up the different car now. That's a fucking lie. That's a journalistic lie. That's a fucking journo. I didn't fucking play the game. I'm just going to guess that's what you gotta do. Bullshit fucking lie. I do not know why. Well, I just said why. Modern journalism. There you go. Complete fucking lie. Dan Stapleton, fucking, The Outer Worlds is a 48+ hour fucking game. I guess again, you bald bitch. Lying pieces of fucking shit. Number 5 is Sea of Stars. I wish I would have put this higher up on the list. I've talked about it before. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Sea of Stars is sublime. It really is. From the gameplay, to the art direction, to the music, to the story it told, all the throwbacks to Lunar Silver Star Story, Super Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, and many others. There's so many throwbacks and head nods to everything. This game is amazing from top to bottom. The reason why this isn't number 1 or 2 on my list is because of the ending. The game kind of forces you to do a collect-a-thon to get the true ending. And I got to the end, and I had to collect these little conches that I've kind of periodically been collecting. Now, it's not that hard to do. You do get an item that just basically tells you where it is. But I was so fucking pissed at that. I just said, fuck it, I'll just look it up online. I really should have done that. I really should have. Don't spoil it for yourself. Go out of your way to get them. It's not that fucking bad. Because the ending, the true ending, is worth it. It really is. They kind of play with time travel a little bit, so it's not like this weird. It doesn't feel like an alternate ending or an extended thing. It feels like part of the game, but because the way time travel and stuff works, they kind of it's integrated better into what they were doing. It's worth it, and I kind of ruined it for myself. But at the same time, fuck you for locking the true ending behind a collectathon. I absolutely fucking hate when they do this shit. Another game that did that was Wargroove. I love that game from top to bottom, but then they're like, oh, you have to fucking collect all the stars to see the real ending. Hate that fucking shit. Hate that fucking shit. Japanese people love to do that. Oh, play our game, but now 100% it to get the real ending. Fuck you. I did love the game, though. I did love it. The characters, the music. I still listen to the music to this day. Fucking great shit. Number 4, and the last game in the remakes/remasters on this list is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Finally got to this thing. Man, so many great remakes and remasters. Barring the Final Fantasies, those are just pixel remasters. They didn't really change much other than quality of life. But we got Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Metroid Prime, the SpongeBob SquarePants game, Advance Wars with the Reboot Camp, which is 2 games in one. We got a lot of really cool remakes this fucking year. And I would recommend them all, especially if you haven't played them. The last one on this list that I haven't played before, like I played the original Resident Evil 4, played the original Dead Space, I played the original Final Fantasies, Metroid Prime. SpongeBob is probably SpongeBob and Blaster Master Zero. I never played the originals, so these games were an extra treat for someone like me who has never played them. But all sublime games. If you have never played Dead Space or Resident Evil or Metroid Prime before, what are you doing with your life? Play these games now. This isn't just a nostalgia trip. Oh, I enjoyed these games. I'll play the updated version. No, fucking, you could say that was Skyrim and the Final Fantasies, sure, right? But these games, even if you've played them or never played them, they hold up extremely well. You're not going to feel like you're playing an old game. You're going to feel like you're playing a modern game. It'll actually make you angry because you're going to be like, wow, this is really fucking cool. Why can't other modern games be like this? What the fuck is their problem? Why do I have to collect needless loot? Why is there an arbitrary fucking number system in here? Why is the fucking inventory look like Destiny 2? Like, you don't have that shit in these fucking games. These games are perfect, and they improved them. But Resident Evil 4 was a real treat. It's a little controversial, too, because other than literally all other 16 fucking remakes and shit I fucking mentioned, Resident Evil 4 probably changes the original more so than anything else. This is not just a remake, it is a revamp. It blurs the lines too. There's so many things that they do and improve upon. It could have been a disaster if they made the changes that weren't well received, but all of them were very well received. I'll name an example. The village area, the first area of the game, they made it completely open world and backtrackable. Remember when Leon would like push open the big double doors and there would be a loading screen and then it would load you up into a little hub area? Done with that. Done with that. It's all connected. There's no longer these little hub areas. It is one big yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of loading shit going on behind the scenes, but the whole village area is one big giant open world now. And it feels amazing. There's pathways and switchbacks in between the other areas that weren't there before, and it just felt so fucking good. They expanded on the lake and added new little areas. It was so goddamn good. The castle area is a little less recognizable, but they still have all the set pieces in there. If you remember all these fucking rooms and shit from the castle and these epic battles and stuff, they revamped it a little bit more and made it more friendly. And then the last area, the fucking the island, that was actually quite enjoyable. That's almost completely unrecognizable. They changed what they needed to change, and it felt so fucking good. Gameplay was tight, graphics were amazing. I loved the new expanded story and the cutscenes. The Resident Evil 4 remake is a masterpiece, and probably out of all the remakes and remasters on the list, it is the best one. It was very close between this and Dead Space. Very close. But this one gets the gold star. Fantastic game. Again, if you have not played any of these before, what are you waiting for? Get it? What are you waiting for? Resident Evil 4. Number 4 on my list. Number 3 on the list. This was the game that bumped everything down. This is the game that bumped fucking A Plague Tale Requiem out of the top 10. Because I completely forgot about it. Death Stranding. Director's Cut. All right. There seems to be two teams. Team fucking this is the best game in the world, and team fucking you're out of your you're out of your goddamn mind. A fucking walking simulator. I am team. This is a great fucking game. Great fucking game. Yes, you are essentially a mail courier service, and that basically lends itself to explaining the story and giving your character agency, right? Without this, the gameplay would still be really good because you're still traversing these giant open world hub areas. Now, when I say open world hub area, I mean something like The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 isn't a true open world game. There's like 3 giant areas to Witcher 3. There's that beginning area, which is little. Then there's that main area. You go after that. And then there's that other northern area. There's like 3 huge fucking areas in The Witcher 3. And people don't really think about that. But it's not one giant open world map. It's 3 different, very large maps. That's what Death Stranding is like. There's like 3 very, very, very fucking large areas in this fucking game. But they are technically hub-based. You get to know the landscape intimately. You start progressing. The progression is really fun. You get all these unlocks and stuff, and you get to make all these cool gadgets. And the way they implement the multiplayer in this game is brilliant. Think of it like Dark Souls, how they do multiplayer there. But instead of like invading other people's fucking worlds and fucking them up, you're actually working together. You could build stuff and it appears in other people's worlds. You could give people likes and stuff and receive them, and you're really working together. When you drop fucking 100,000 fucking resources to pave a road, it feels so fucking good. And it's really cool. The gameplay is there. The gameplay is there. With Metal Gear Solid 5, starting with Metal Gear Solid 5, I should say, Kojima has really, he still has the wild, crazy aspects of the game, and it's very story and cutscene heavy, but he has stepped a little bit away from that and closer towards making a game that feels and plays great. Death Stranding feels and plays great. And while I will say that it did take me 10 hours before it got good, I hate when they do that shit, you know? I hate when they do that. Because, well, you don't want to stick around for 10 fucking hours. It's very fucking tutorial heavy, especially at the beginning. The first like 2 hours of the fucking game is a straight cutscene. And then it's tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. The first whole fucking hub area is basically a giant tutorial. But you get through it, and then the game lets you do what you want, and it's so fun. Then you find yourself doing all the same shit it was teaching you over and over again because you want to do it, because it's so fucking fun. The story is very Kojima-like. I mean, you saw the fucking trailers with the giant fucking whales and fucking Troy Baker with the fucking mask and the fucking shit connected to him, and it's crazy. It's floating people. It's fucking the baby, fucking BB. It's fucking nuts. It is. And what the fuck is that? Goddamn. The dust on top of here is so fucking thick. I thought it was spider legs. I thought it was someone creeping. It scared the shit out of me. Fucking game's amazing. It really is. I'm on team. This is like one of the greatest games of the generation, of the year at least. I didn't play this when it came out. I played the director's cut version, so I don't really know what extra stuff this had into it. I know it has some quality of life improvements, but and again, taking advantage of the PlayStation 5 SSD. Great game. I really loved it. I was thoroughly glued to it after the 10-hour mark. Before the 10-hour mark, I was like, I don't know, I'll beat it, I guess, just to say I did it, you know. I heard it's like a 40-hour fucking game, you know, the main story. I'm like, oh my god. And then I passed the 50-hour mark eventually, and I was about halfway through the game. I was like, oh, damn, I'm hooked. It really is. It has good gameplay. You know, it might not be for everyone. It's not a walking simulator. People who haven't played the game or only played a couple minutes of it fixate too much on the fact that the urgency of the main character is literally walking from point A to point B and delivering packages. Don't get too fucking caught up on that. Saying this game is a walking simulator because your main character is doing that is like saying that Cult of the Lamb is about starting your own religion and giving sermons. Like, that's stupid. Don't be fucking stupid. That's not what it fucking is. So that's not what Death Stranding is. It's deep gameplay, has really cool mechanics, and it's constantly throwing stuff at you and mechanics and new things all the way to the end of the game. There's a point in the game where like, oh, here's a new type of weapon that does stuff. I already had my setup. I was upgrading my guns and all of its contraptions. I had my shit fucking, I had a special slot for it and everything. I'm wearing a fucking exoskeleton suit to fucking support it and everything. And then they're like, here's a new weapon to fucking fuck your shit up. I'm like, oh my god, there's too much stuff in the fucking game. I can't fucking deal with this. So much content, so much stuff to do. It really is a fantastic game, complete with the batshit fucking crazy Kojima fucking style of storytelling. Lots of cutscenes, and the end is quite sad. Quite sad. Quite sad. It deserves its spot in the top 3 for sure. It really does. Maybe not for you. All I will say is if you play the game and you get through the first like 2-hour cutscene tutorial, don't just quit after that. Like there's like a 2-hour cutscene at the beginning of the game, and the first area is very tutorial heavy. Just get through it if you want. Get past like the 10-hour mark. Get to the second area. Make your decision then, because that's really when it starts to open up. And it's not really 10 hours. It's more like 7-ish. And if you really want to just fucking do the main shit and forget everything else, you could do it in like 3 or something like that, 3 or 4. But if you do want to give this thing a chance, give it a chance. Don't just fucking half-ass it and then say it's bad and then lie about it. Number 2, I had a hell of a time thinking, trying to figure out which one should take the number 2 spot and which one takes the number 3 slot. Eventually, The Last of Us Part 2 takes the number 2 slot. I could not tell like which one was better, Death Stranding or The Last of Us Part 2. I played both of them on the PS5. I played The Last of Us Part 2 with the 60 frames per second patch on the PS5, and both of them with, the SSD. So I played like improved versions of the originals. I did not play like the PS4 original on the PS4 hardware. So I played the PS5 version of Death Stranding on the PS5, and I played Last of Us Part 2 on the PS5 with the patch. So keep that in mind. I could not tell which one of these was better. But just my heart just kind of goes with The Last of Us Part 2. Let me do some explaining. All right, so they killed Joel. You knew that. Everybody knows that. Did I like it? No, I didn't fucking like it. No, I really didn't like it. Did it feel like they were shitting on the characters I love? Did it feel like they were shitting on me? Did it feel like they were disrespecting me as the gamer? Yeah, it kind of did a little bit at first. But I will say they did, having played through the whole thing, right? The 30 hours of this fucking thing, having played through the whole thing and seeing all the cutscenes and going through all the characters and watching the transformation of Ellie to being kind of cool, to being an absolute badass, to being this fucking monster, to being knocked down a peg, to eventually becoming this pathetic PTSD. It was a wild transformation. And there are other characters that you do start to like and do start to care about. And it's a wild, wild ride. It's so bloody, so fucked up. Some of the characters, they just die. And I'm not just talking about Joel. Some of the characters just go, and while the cutscene's playing out and someone's being held up at gunpoint and they're trying to negotiate their way out of a death, you got to process that your fucking homie is on the ground with a hole in their head and there's no time to process. You're like, what the fuck? So much death, so much destruction in this game, and it really was great. It really was. A lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of feelings. Yes, there is SJW bullshit in the game. There is. And yes, it did take away from the game. If they had a more meaningful love sequences and better choice characters that didn't have to fit checkboxes, yes, this game would have translated better and just felt better. If Allie was a male instead of a weird female that's ripped, like, that's just weird, and it's immersion breaking. So yeah, this shit is in the game. But like I've been saying with, what was it I was talking about? Was it Grounded? I don't know. It was one of these games. This shit, I don't love this shit in the game, but it is not on the level that it's too much. You know? It did degrade from the overall experience, but it did not make a bad game. So like I've been saying, I don't like this shit in my fucking games. But the difference is it a good game? The answer is yes. The Last of Us Part 2 is a great fucking game. It really is. There's a lot of reasons to be turned off about it. I played it for the sheer fucking... for two reasons. Number one, just out of sheer curiosity. And number two, I didn't want to be on the outside of the conversation looking in. I wanted to be part of the conversation. To go, okay, this is true. That's not true. You're making that up. You're fucking lying about that. This is an exaggeration. Why is no one talking about this? Now I could say all of that. The game does have the weird... I'm not one of those people like, oh, you're just a hater. No. Troy Baker fucking lied about the fucking game. He lied about the spoilers because he's a lying little bitch. There is disgusting SJW fucking politics in the game that do not do the game any justice. But I will say, in spite all of that, it is a fantastic game with fantastic characters and a fantastic plot and story. Last thing I want to say about it is Joel and Joel's death. It does make you angry. It does suck. And it does make you squeamish. Just because the first game was great and you love the character. But it happens. It's like a Band-Aid. It gets ripped off. And then after that, they do a good job of honoring him. There's a lot of flashback scenes that kind of show what happened in between the first one and now. And it really paints him out to be this awesome guy. And it wasn't done retroactively. It was worked in the game knowing that he's gone already. And they do a good job of remembering him, paying homage to him. And to be honest, he's old. He's like 65 in this game. He can't be rolling around being a badass forever. You just can't. And you don't want him wasting away in the post-apocalypse on a fucking rocking chair on a porch either. You know, he had to go at some point. Again, I don't like it, but they did pay respects to him. And they did do it in a meaningful way. He just, he didn't have the send-off we all wanted. It is a great game, though. And I won't apologize for that. But I do admit, there is some shit in the game that it would have been better if it wasn't in it. Let's get to my number one, and then I got fucking bitches to fuck, drinks to drink, and all that good stuff. Oh, and games to play, of course. Number one, and you ain't gonna fucking... this is gonna come out of nowhere. This game didn't even come out this year. I got to it late. This is the last game you'd think would be number one on my list, but number one is 2 Point Campus. I am not shitting you. What to say? I love these types of games. That's part of it. I love these types of games. And even if you don't love these games, you'll probably love this one. This game is so awesome. At the end of the day, I could not deny how much fun and how much time I've sunk into this game. I was like, oh man, this game's pretty good. Oh man, I love this game. Oh, I can't believe how fucking good this game is. I can't stop playing this game. This has got to be one of my best games of the fucking year. Oh my God, I'm looking at the list. This is the best game I've played all year so far. Is this going to be... to number one? I was addicted. I kept playing. I got the DLC to it, and I was playing those. They have good, meaningful DLC too. Game handles everything great. If you want to know, this was a game that I didn't really know how it would play until I got my hands on it. I saw some screenshots, I saw some videos. It was still confusing to me. I didn't know what it was trying to do. Is it a strategy game? Is it a city builder? What is it exactly? I'll just give it to you straight. 2 Point Campus and 2 Point Hospital, I guess. I never played the previous one. Oh, first of all, I heard that 2 Point Campus is a great improvement on 2 Point Hospital when it comes to the logistics and the menus and the way the game plays. So do what I do. Skip the first one, go straight to Campus. This game is like The Sims. The Sims 2, The Sims 3, The Sims 4. It is like The Sims. That is how it plays. But instead of running around in a town, you are running around on a university. And you're managing all the people. You're managing all the hires. It's literally the same thing and the same feel and the same dynamics. Instead of building a house and getting an income and leveling up your typing skills so you could write your books and instead of doing that in The Sims, you're just literally doing everything on a campus. You're building wings and you're getting an income and you're getting students and they all have their different, it's great. It's really fun. It's really addictive. One of the things that makes this game fantastic, though, is the British humor. There's so much heart and soul into this fucking game. It's made by a British team. So much British humor in this. There's DJs and there's radio personalities that talk while you're playing, and they respond to the things you're doing and stuff. And it's so funny. It's so funny, and it's so fucking British. British humor is something that I've always enjoyed. Not everyone loves it, but it's like Monty Python. It's like if you took the cast of Monty Python and then gave them a radio show and then overlaid that over the fucking game to commentate on the shit you're doing. It's fucking brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. I love it. Cheesy Gubbins. I love this fucking game. It has so much heart and soul, so much needed British humor that are lacking in games. There's not really... The point of contention I have is modern day universities and campuses across America and what that looks like today in reality, in modern times, versus a game about that. This completely just erases the politics. There's no social justice course. There's no discrimination training. There's none of the weird fucking modern day politics. It's just an old school fucking game about learning and getting your degree and making money and expanding the campus and stuff. On a gameplay perspective, it is identical to The Sims, but better. On a content thing, tons of content in the game. Absolutely tons of fucking content. And there's not 1,000,001 different stupid content packs to nickel and dime you. The content packs are like $5 to $10, and they come with whole new levels and a ton of shit in them. You get a lot of value out of them. Like I said, I bought them. I went through and I got all the stars in the game. I did all the challenges and beat every fucking level, saw the credits, and I still wasn't done. That's why I bought the DLC. It's a fantastic fucking game. I loved it. It's definitely #1 on my fucking list. Even though it didn't come out this year, you gotta fucking try it. Even if you don't like these type of games, like I said, there's no denying that this game, how much fun I had with it. That is the reason why. Is it a better game than The Last of Us Part 2? I don't know. Is it a better game than Resident Evil 4? I don't know. Probably not. Does as much time and effort go into making this thing? I don't know. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is the heart and soul put into these other games went into this one. There's a lot of heart and a lot of soul. And it's just a fantastic fucking game. It feels great, and it was so fun. Cannot deny that fact. The fun factor for this game, so fucking great. Had to put it at #1. I was going to put it at #2, but nah, #1. Anyway, that's it. That's my game of the year. I'll see you guys. When I see you guys, have a happy new year. And we're still at 0 fucking views. Damn, almost 3 hours. This shit was about to cut off. All right, you guys. I'm ending stream awkwardly. I don't know how to do this. Stacy's probably in there fucking sleeping on the couch. She's in there playing she's in there playing the fuck is it called? Days Gone. She should have probably played it on the PS5, on the PS5 hardware. That game has some fucking loading problems and shit. Anyway, have a happy new year, everyone. I will see you guys next year. Peace the fuck out.